What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast, episode 15. We're back once again. I'm here with the usual resident homies, Casey, Joseph, and Joel. I myself am Anthony. Today we got a full lineup, right? We got a full lineup, our first full lineup and the most guests we've had so far. We got, Chris, Mike, Will, Emmanuel from Exhausted Prayer. How you guys doing?
Great.
Chilling.
Oh yeah. Welcome, guys. So yeah, we talked about it a little bit before in the beginning. This podcast is going to be several different things. And right now, to me, this is a good thing for me because I want to use this as a way to find new bands as well from California and elsewhere. But this is Cali Death Podcast, so we're going to start in California. Everybody that's been on this podcast so far has been connected to at least one of us, and you guys have a connection with Joseph. So, yeah, let's take it from the beginning. Joseph, you got anything you want to add before we go into it?
Yeah. So, I got connected with Chris and later Mike, and then later Swansong, and this is the first time I'm meeting you, Will. But all through playing with a band with Chris and then getting to know you dudes and sort of unearthing this kind of whole other like LA underground scene that I didn't really know too much about. So Exhausted Prayer being sort of one of the pillars of LA underground metal and doing something super unique and super original and keeping it going for over 20 years now. So what I'd really like to focus on this one is just learning more about this LA music scene that you guys are a part of and how you guys have stayed together as a band. And you guys go back to like high school, right? Like at least the three of you more original guys know each other since high school and have been playing together all throughout, right? Crazy. So
yeah.
So take us back to the beginning, man.
I think I would maybe put it in Swansong's hands to talk about the origins.
Sure. So I guess 1995. Mike and I and our original guitarist Blake, we all went to an all-boys Jesuit school. I don't know if Mike wants that known, but he left after the first year. But anyway, we
First 2 years.
First 2 years, yeah. We all had the same first 3 periods together, and Mike was the most metal guy in our entire class. So everyone was just like, dude, that guy's kind of scary. After a while, we just kind of got to know each other, and at one point I was like, yeah, do you like this band Korn? And he was just like, psh. But after a while, like we discovered other bands together, and I guess the first extreme band I ever heard, besides like Metallica at the time and like alternative shit, was Mike lent me Deicide's Once Upon the Cross and Dusk into Her Embrace. So yeah, after that I was pretty much extreme metal all the way. But yeah, he'd already played in other bands, and we just started jamming. Blake had just started learning guitar, and I'd been playing for about a year and a half, so we started jamming and eventually became a band. And I guess, yeah, first bit is what's our name? So we were like, what should we call ourselves? And it turned out in English class, me and Blake had the same teacher. We read Beowulf. And one day in class, Blake's like, whoa, I heard this really cool stanza, and it was, I had given up hope, exhausted prayer, expected nothing but misfortune forever, which is, I guess, when Grendel's about to tear some shit up, and they're just like, basically, we're all going to die. And I felt that was pretty inspiring, because you could take it as like, okay, we're fucked, might as well give up. Or you can take it as, okay, well, we've had all this sort of false hope and like appeals to the supernatural and to whatever, the spirits and things, and none of that worked. So okay, well, I guess now we're just left with ourselves, and so just got to keep moving and power through. And so that's kind of how I think of it. So we basically moved on to drawing a logo, which I took the first stab at it, and I forgot to have an H in it, so there's a long joke about that.
So I want to chime in real quick. So I'm just listening to you talk, and you had said you guys went to a Jesuit school for 2 years, and then after that you denounced it, obviously.
Well, during, yeah. I mean,
during, yeah,
played
and,
along, yeah.
But that makes that that name a lot more meaningful, because
Exactly.
it's actually what you guys were going through in real life.
Totally.
And it's yeah, it's a cool comparison to something, and now you actually that name gives you guys, gives the project a lot more meaning to you guys, because you can inject your actual self into it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I think like right out the gate when we were thinking about doing a band, the idea that what might be sort of anti-religious in sentiment, or if you don't want to be anti, maybe, you know, like pro-humanism or secular or pro-reason, things like this, right? But kind of anti-religious. So yeah, exhausted prayer. I mean, it's not a big surprise coming out of this Catholic school or whatever, and you know, they're trying to teach you like, you know, science and English and what's going on about the world, legit college preparatory school. And they're also like, and the Bible's real, and we're going to try and make sense of this story so that it doesn't sound completely ridiculous. And it's kind of like, you know, we're not really feeling this stuff or whatever. So yeah, that became kind of deep down, you know, not suffering the religious fools a little bit. And we'll get there, but I think we're going to call our new album The Holy Fool too. But we can get there.
Yeah, we'll get to
Yeah,
that.
we'll get
for
into
sure.
that for sure.
But yeah, so it continues. But yeah, but you should keep going at it there, Swansong.
Yeah, so we jammed, and we actually enrolled in the first battle of the bands. I think it was our sophomore year, and because we knew they probably would deny us if we entered with our real name, we came up with a fake name, which we called ourselves Malign, which was really funny. And at the time, it was me on keyboards, Mike played bass and sang, growled, and Blake played guitar, so we didn't have a full-time drummer. And so we just pulled out this guy, Tom Dunbabin, and so he filled in, and we played the show, and we got pretty good response from it. So we kept at it and kind of rearranged, because Mike borrowed a drum kit from our buddy Richard, who ended up playing bass in the band. And so he basically worked on his chops over the next year, and we just kept recording on our 4-track, and just kind of tooling our songs a bit. And so I transitioned a lot of the keyboard parts and the sort of complex harmonies into guitar, and I think that kind of explains a lot of where our like tonality comes from, and sort of the cross fertilization of different instruments, because Mike writes actually a lot of the songs, even though he plays drums.
I think at some point too, like we made that sort of aesthetic decision to not have like keyboards.
I joined the band and said, "No keyboards, bro." It's fucking death metal influence, all right?
Had enough Dimmu Borgir flavor.
Technical
So like,
death
yeah.
I mean, I think there was a feeling that it was almost like a shortcut to like atmosphere and achieving the harmonic stuff that we wanted to do, especially with
cheating, you know.
So yeah.
Using this keyboard, you need to make your guitar sound like they're keyboards.
We always had this thing,
keyboards and shit.
We've always had this thing in Exhausted Prayer when listening to like black metal, like if it's kind of cool, like, or we like how it sounds, like, oh yeah, dude, I can like hear the keyboards, but there's like no keyboards or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So we've always kind of like tried to achieve that a little bit. So at some point, as we rearranged, we were like, we're gonna go kind of straight up, you know, guitar, bass, you know, drums pretty early on, and probably mostly to do with Chris coming in and saying, you guys are a bunch of busters trying to use keyboards or something.
Well, there's a Cryptopsy influence, you know, like a little more brutal.
Yeah, we wanted to go more brutal for sure, you know.
Yeah, Heist was definitely the death metal, the strongest death metal brutal influence when we were kind of still, I guess, melodic, keyboard driven. But yeah, it started to get more into like super fast single note speed picking, and this was about '97 then when Heist joined the band. And then Blake switched to bass.
I joined in '99.
He joined fall of '99.
Okay.
Fall of '99.
Okay, well, I guess Blake was playing bass for a while, and then yeah, when we got more serious, Blake actually went to college at UC Berkeley, and so we needed a bassist, and yeah, we knew Heist, so he came in on it. Because Mike and Heist were involved in another project called Music of Eric Zan that was like more grindcore, which had cool melodies to it too. So we were all friends, and it was just basically, yeah, you want to jam, and so yeah, that was that. And so Exhausted Prayer had our first recording in '99 that we released called Involutional Melancholia, which I remember like after a really intense party, we all slept over our friend Lindsay's house, and I remember waking up in his like dad's room or something, and there was a book on psychology called Involutional Melancholia, and I was like, hey. So we got a lot of book titles, and then our next album actually was also another book title. So
I believe in just anything sparking ideas, you know, or finding just commonalities in stuff that you weren't before exposed to, but then all of a sudden you see it and you're like, oh yeah, that pertains exactly to me, or it pertains exactly to this, you know? So I like to find those little Easter eggs too, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. We pull from a wide variety of stuff, for sure. I mean, as you know, in people who enjoy music, you know, I mean, I think we all listen to a wide variety of stuff. We like to play a wide variety of stuff. And yeah, in terms of like even just film and stuff too. I mean, for me personally, like just taking in art from, you know, all corners. We're working on some of the Exhausted Prayer artwork right now for the album, the new album. And you know, I kind of drew like a little like mock-up of it, and it's ridiculous, but then I was like, and I want to be like that combined with Botticelli or whatever, you know. So you know, we draw from a lot of different places, for sure.
I think that's the best way to do it, really. If you want to, I mean, we've already heard the words unique and original when we're talking about you guys. So it's like, you can only become that if you take from everything, take a little bit of everything, or as much as of everything that you enjoy, you know, because if you just try and sound like Dark Throne, you're going to sound like Dark Throne.
Yeah, and that's, I think, you know, I remember when I was a teenager and I was like getting into black metal and stuff, and I was like, I want to get rid of like all my rock and roll, like 90s, like grunge CDs, like fuck this shit, like black metal. And like, it's like, man, you know, I love black metal, you know, there's so much baggage with it or whatever, for sure. Like, fuck anybody who's a racist, like nationalist person or whatever.
Yes.
But, you know, beyond that, it's like this aesthetic, like wormhole, like tunnel that you can go down and become like super close-minded. And that's just like the dumbest thing ever when you're talking about art. I mean, when you get to that point, it's not even like you like art. You just like something that's like like a fashion. That's just like a little slice.
It's a symbol. It just becomes a symbol that you align yourself with. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I talk in some of my lyrics on the album about laying down your fucking banner, you know, like, you know, I've always felt that if you just like one little slice of art, then you just like that little fashion that you like. It's not art as a whole, you know, but yeah.
Totally.
No. I'll talk about aesthetic nonsense as much as you want, or not.
Can I ask, Heist? I remember you telling me you ran in with Deprecated for a little bit, or auditioned, or what was this Deprecated story?
When I was in high school, like it was a smaller scene back in the day, but my buddies in Pedro knew Derek Boyer a long time ago, when I was like in the late '90s, and we used to chat on the phone and shit, and like, you know, we were like, oh, let's jam and shit, and like, you know, I never made it down there, but yeah, like back, yeah. Like I was talking to him about jamming for Deprecated like in '99 or something when I was in high school, but I never went down there and shit. But I knew him through like a few guys in San Pedro that were just in the kind of death metal scene that were really into like Disgorge, and that showed me Disgorge and Deprecated back in like the late '90s, '98, '99. It's a pretty small scene, you know. Like now it's great, but yeah, in the late '90s it was, yeah.
when Chris came into the Exhausted Prayer fold, I mean, one of his main things was like anywhere he showed up, he had like the first Discord CD that starts off with just the fucking guttural, like wet.
Oh shit, that was terrible.
And basically, like anywhere he wanted to go, let people know what he was all about, dude. He had that shit.
I'm like, dude, this is the best fucking album ever, dude. Like,
I mean, he got us all on board for sure.
Yeah, dude, it is the best album. Come on, man. Still is, dude. Praying Impalement. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that band
it was like, oh my goodness, it goosebumps.
That band Flesh Rot, actually, I remember. I think for their first demo, they took all they did for the vocals. I should try to get a hold of it sometime. It's Naveen. It's the guys from Animosity. They actually they cut up the vocals from that and turned it into into songs. They just cut up the vocals from all that.
Like they sampled Maddie's voice.
They cut it up to make it work around their music because they couldn't find a singer or something. They wanted Maddie Way.
Whoa, really?
Like,
wow.
Yeah. I'll try to find it somewhere. I know that Chase was
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah.
Heard that story or heard of anybody else doing that.
Sampling the best
vocals from the first Discord.
Yeah.
Wait, all right, real quick. Let me just turn that into like I mean, the comparison would be hip hop, like trying to find the break beat. You find the 2 measure break beat, and then you loop that.
Measure break beat.
Yeah. And then you cut that and loop it. Well, it's the same thing. You just fucking Maddie Way's voice right in the beginning of that. And there's probably a couple other breaks during the album too, where it's just him, where you could just take that
Yeah.
Yeah.
manipulate it.
The middle of Atonement, that one part. Yeah, you could totally.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
guys are, dude, we're onto something. Well, I guess they're on.
I guess they were already onto
Yeah.
something.
We could just go with guitar riffs and drums and everything. Just take a fucking one band's shit or a bunch of bands shit, just splice little fucking slices up and start another band, you know?
Yeah.
DJ Shadow, right? You know.
Yeah, DJ Shadow of Metal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fucking brutal death metal DJ Shadow. It's very doable. A lot of the bands are using the same samples and shit, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of reminds me, I mean, early on, like we were the only band that we knew that was extreme, and it's like we'd play with like alternative metal bands or just kind of like heavy punk bands or like, and so yeah, it was hard to really know where to play, and everyone's like, oh, play the Whiskey, and so we did play the Whiskey once, and we were like the opening of like 5 bands. I forgot who played that show. Was that Testament? I forget.
We hit up Noctuary. That's what it was.
Noctuary. That was our.
And I was like, dude, we should email Noctuary. And they were like, hey, we're playing the fucking Whiskey with Pessimist, man. And we're like, fuck yeah, man. And so yeah, we played with Pessimist and Noctuary, right? Like 99.
Yeah, that was like our first big show. Because at the time it's like, oh, you go to like a giant venue to see Pantera or Slayer or whatever, and so like there'd be tiny shows here and there, and so we played the Whiskey and we were like, fuck this. Pay to play, never again. And through Noctuary we started playing smaller clubs, like we played Que Sera in Long Beach, which is still a good spot. And then we started playing house shows and backyard shows, and that's when we were like, okay, these are our folks. We're not going to go to stupid big shows.
Like fucking like the Juan Ramirez shows, right? Like
Holy Gully, Westchester Bar,
Juan Soriano,
yeah.
We got a Holy Gully date or two in there.
Yeah. Well known at the time.
Salon Riviera.
That's a different scene, man. That's Benighted Entity. Fucking Juan Soriano. That's fucking Salon Riviera. Like fucking Westchester. What else have we played?
Yeah.
We played like rest assured. We've played all the kind of like subpar venues that underground metal shows have been at for all the years because they can't quite be at the normal venues or whatever. Like all the nook and cranny places, like
shit.
Yeah, the Stardust Lounge, the Salon Riviera, the Holy Gully. One we played at a lot was the Relax Bar in Hollywood, like 10-15 years ago.
The place that Dan started at, Studio NoHo. What's that place called?
Oh, remember the Mountain Bar? That was sweet.
Oh, the Mountain Bar was
Mountain Bar in Chinatown.
Yeah, the place had free shows.
I think when Exhausted Prayer started, though, like, I don't know, this is how I kind of recall it. You know, like, we weren't really, like, part of, like, a particular scene. It wasn't, like, there were, like, a bunch of backyard shows that we were automatically going to and that we kind of got our band going because we were already, like, friends with, like, people and stuff. This is stuff that, like, when Swansong and I were going originally, we got into, like, you know, extreme metal and everything, like, kind of just on our own. Like, 3 of us, like, dudes, kind of, you know? And we eventually met, you know, Chris, and he got into the fold and stuff, but he wasn't super dialed into like the metal scene for shows and stuff like that. So it was really us and kind of our passion of just liking this dark ass music. And then we eventually, you know, didn't go quickly, but we weaseled our way into the scene to the extent which we're in it today, which is not, you know, anything to write home about probably, but you know, we've been around a while or whatever.
Does your earlier material have like a lot of that? Because I basically just went to Spotify today and listened while I was nude in the shower. But I listened. Yeah, I know it's the way to do it. But
well, yeah, you got to do it nude, dude. I mean, in clothes, you're fucking.
Get a fucking. I have Alexa. The only place I have Alexa in my house is in my bathroom, where it's of a nice like Alexa speaker, where I can just be like in showering, be like, play Exhausted Prayer, you know, like, and just basically it started playing. But do you guys like your older stuff? Does it have that kind of same atmospheric kind of? Because I heard a lot of atmospheric kind of. Black metal in there that actually it's some of my favorite black metal is like the atmospheric kind of like trippy, but it would go like between like, you know, you have the unique style where it's jumping between genres, but you had that very atmospheric black metal. Was that in the beginning still like that as well?
Kind of always been like that, right?
Yeah, totally. We were probably more brutal, like faster, just straight out blast beats out the gate, but then there'd be an interlude, then back into blast beats. But yeah, over time, yeah, we kind of mixed in different tempos and different feels a little bit more, blended them a little better. But yeah, early on, yeah, it was just like basically every time we jam, Heist would be like, what does that sound like with a blast beat on it? Let's just throw a blast beat after blast beat
on that shit, man.
Yeah, Emperor is like a big influence on us.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
For sure.
That's
And
the
like, you
biggest
know,
one probably, yeah. Copying Emperor. Fucking
yeah, and like you know, we like Dark Funeral. They were one of those bands where you could hear the keyboards, like we were saying, you know. But yeah, we like the atmospheric stuff, and we do to this day. I mean, I think there's some stuff we've done on the new record that's kind of a little more like shoegazy, and we've always done like a little bit of that. We do like My Bloody Valentine and some stuff like that. And
yeah, there's a band from, I'm sorry, I was just gonna say there's a band from San Francisco. You guys might know how to pronounce it. It's like Bosse de Nage or something.
Boston Nage or whatever.
Yeah. That's there was just like a little hint of that in one part of a song that I heard too. So I was like, I felt that connection too. And then I've also heard the shoegaze label with them as well. But I'm actually new to this shoegaze stuff. I don't really know.
Well, I mean, I would argue that like Transylvania Hunger is like kind of shoegazy insofar as he's just playing like the blast beat like the whole time, and there's like no fills, and it sounds like shit, but like it just gets that kind of like trance thing going.
Yeah.
Or that like over record that sounds like it was recorded
that's the best shit, dude.
Yeah, that is like a straight blast beat the whole motherfucking time, dude.
Yeah, and again, this is like that aesthetic wormhole where you don't want that to be your only stuff.
Totally.
But like we love that stuff though.
Yeah.
You know, like I love Transylvania Hunger, you know. So we do like, and we like psychedelic stuff. I think we're kind of California hippies, really, more than like tough metal guys or something. You know, yeah.
You're on the right podcast, dude.
You know, maybe get a psychedelic vibe and get the trance-like music going a little bit. We like that a little trippy, you know.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, early on, we basically would show up to a show and be like, all right, who's playing? And it's like just like death metal dudes. We called them Satanic Hispanics because it was like mostly Latinx scene. But yeah, after a while,
that then though.
Yeah, exactly. But after a while, we somehow came across the band Ludicra from San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
And we became friends with them instantly. We're like, wow, there's another band that kind of sounds like us, and we're like kind of in the same wavelength. And so we hit them up and we met them for the first time. We like totally gelled and became great friends right away, and we're still friends. But that was like one of the first times we ventured out of LA, and we started playing San Francisco fairly often.
Noctuary, man, right? It's the Noctuary connection.
Yeah, Noctuary.
Right, we probably played a show with them, yeah. Like, so yeah, what? I don't fucking know.
It's a long time ago, man. I mean, we're talking like, you know, like 17 years ago or something. It's not easy to remember all this nonsense.
Totally.
Yeah, it's like around that time we started branching out, and we got shows in San Diego, and then we started playing Mexicali a lot. And so that was a big surprise that there was huge scene in Mexico. And Tijuana was pretty good too. But yeah, we played with like Brujeria or Asesino. Yeah,
we played with Nun Slaughter and Mexicali.
Nun's Laughter.
Nice.
But yeah, we just sort of played wherever we were invited, and we're like, yeah, we're down, and people would be like, whoa, we never heard a band like you guys before, like that was crazy. And it's like, so that was pretty cool to get through to people that they were like, they could tell we were doing something different and trying to do our own sound.
I think that's really good, Swansong. That advances the narrative here a little bit. And I was going to say that from there we kind of started branching out to like the West Coast to like get out and play shows, do tours. I mean, you know, to do tours, and then we also did some maybe less like well-advised touring stuff. We went to the East Coast one time. That was kind of funny. Lost our asses going to the East Coast, but like have stories to tell as well though.
A couple good shows.
What's that?
We had a couple good shows.
Yeah, no, it's a couple good shows.
We had a good time.
Like, yeah, like
except
you know,
for
we
Chicago.
learned like, all right, if we're gonna drive a van and play the Exhausted Prayer type tour, where we're like, hey, give us whatever kind of money you can for the show, because we're like artists, not capitalists or whatever the fuck. We kind of stick it to like the West Coast mostly, and we kind of for a while been doing like a yearly run up there, and we really kind of dig that because we can stay with people we know and eat at all like the vegetarian restaurants and stuff like that.
We definitely feel very comfortable when we're playing it in California too. It's just, yeah, I guess maybe that's like that for other, you know, musicians where they're from too, you know, but maybe, I don't know.
In Oregon and
Yeah,
Washington.
well, no,
It's fucking sweet. There's a whole middle of the country that isn't that sweet that you have to get through.
Yeah.
You know, play a bunch of shit shows like Nevada, Utah. Fucking come on, man. Nobody wants to do that.
That's a lot of people. A lot of people leave out about touring is that most of the time you're in the middle of the country because most of the country is the meat of the country. You're not going on the coast most of the time. You have to get to the coast. It's kind of like touring to get to the coast is what you're doing. You're basically like,
pretty much.
I mean, there's like there's spots in
Texas,
there's Texas exactly. Yeah. There's Texas and
Texas,
stuff like that.
There's just enough spots to like give you a little boosts to get you to the other side, and that's it. It's like,
we're all like day job dudes too and everything. So like, I mean, if the right thing came around and it was like a big tour, I mean, maybe we could do it or something. But we all got kind of lives. We're a little bit older. I mean, speaking of 20 years, that means we're not like in our 20s or whatever. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, for me personally, I love our little like West Coast thing that we can do. And if we can, make $300 a show instead of $150 a show one day, that would be super cool.
You go back to you saying you're an artist. Well, that's the whole point. It's like, where do you guys have fun playing shows? We're going to get ready to do that and keep doing that and keep writing new music to play at those spots and keep having fun with it. That's it. It's not about, you got a day job, what's going to pay the bills, but this is getting our creative release out and getting up on stage and doing it.
Yeah, we wouldn't be doing this like in the manner we have for so long and like have too many illusions about what we're doing. We like making music for ourselves, and we got a few fans out there and colleagues and stuff that we like to share our music with, and we go out there and support it with our shows. It's pretty chill for us.
Yeah, admittedly we could have done better if we'd hired a booking agent and gotten a label and all that sort of stuff, but we were just too busy recording and just putting stuff out on our own. We were all about the DIY aspect, and if anything, if we got stuck playing a small place like Ashland, Oregon or whatever, like, oh, well, there's nowhere else between there and Portland, we actually were blown away when it's like we played this cafe and all of a sudden there's like 150 people out of nowhere just show up. They bought all our merch, just super loved it, and we're just like, hell yeah, that's so cool when you can just have no expectations and be like, fuck it, we're just gonna roll in here and just play whatever, even though there's no one there, and all of a sudden it's like an amazing show. Or even in Amarillo, Texas, there was like no one near a Greyhound bus station. A bunch of homeless people are like, okay, whatever, we'll play this like parking lot thing, and then all of a sudden all these kids show up. It was like the most money we'd ever made on merch ever, and it's like, hell yeah. So yeah, that's what it's all about, is just going in there and just doing it.
Sick. Awesome. So now you guys got that first release out. How did you guys get prepared and get that next one out?
Shit. Well, okay, so first one was Involutional Melancholia. We did that in Chris's bedroom, or no, I'm sorry, his living room of his parents' house when they were out of town.
Yeah.
So we did that 100% ourselves, and it sounds crappy, but we're talking black metal here. It is what it is.
Yeah. There was an empty house going on, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So what was our next one after that? What Completely Is Not?
Yeah, we did that at the Media Kitchen.
Yeah, so we stepped it up for that one. We've been rehearsing at this place called the Media Kitchen in like Gardena, in the LA area. And we're like, oh, let's go in there and record it. And, the preparation we did on that one was just jamming like us dudes were doing. And we went in and recorded, did we record live? And then maybe
we didn't record.
We tracked, yeah. But the producer had never really done metal, so it was just sort of like,
oh no, that's bullshit.
Doing our thing, right?
Visions, man. And like
Phil Cordell?
The extreme metal wasn't there for
I think so. No, definitely. Yeah.
The extreme metal wasn't their forte, but we were just taking advantage of these guys we knew. We rehearsed at their spot. They were a couple older dudes. We're like, let's do it. And I think that there's a lot of great energy coming off that record. There's some good songwriting too. We've always like put songwriting kind of first, you don't not a bunch of riffs that you can just shuffle around between the songs or something. But there's a slop factor a little bit. We're young and just full of piss and vinegar or whatever. But that was one that we didn't do like DIY. We've got bounced back and forth a few times over the years. It's always been us kind of mostly handling what's going on. We've never really had like a label. But that one we did do with in a recording studio. Mm-hmm. And I'll mention too that although it's fluctuated over the years, we all kind of write like a couple songs for each album. Each of us will kind of compose a song until it's maybe like 70% finished or something like this, and then we bring it to the band, and then we kind of like arrange it and put it all together and stuff. And the balance has changed a little bit over the years, but we all kind of contribute like pretty evenly to writing songs for each release.
And is that true of the lyrics also, or is there maybe more of a like lyricist for the band?
That's not true.
It is true of the lyrics, but less so. So I think the lyrics would mainly be me, and then Swansong, and then maybe Chris.
Yeah, I've written a couple songs only.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's like 80% me.
Yeah. So you get, I mean, you know, all the song titles are like so like philosophical. Did you like study philosophy, or where does that stuff come from?
No, yeah, I have a bachelor's degree in philosophy.
I can find the guys. I can find them always. Yep.
yeah, like Richard, right? Well, you know, Richard, our former bass player, and me and Swansong went to UCLA like at the same time or whatever, and we didn't meet each other there. Again, we knew each other from beforehand. But yeah, so Swansong did microbiology, but yeah, I got the philosophy chops. You know, philosophy, music, real practical sort of. You know, got my head on my shoulders sort of dude. Tackle life.
Oh, yeah.
Relatable though. Yeah, man. I just love it. Yeah, it's awesome. Can I just read this one title from What Completely Is Not? The Unwavering Bludgeoning of a Mind by the Angst Arising from an Encounter with the Void. It's like a great song title.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, there's also, I don't think there's not like any humor in our music. Yeah. Like when you listen to our tunes, there's not like any tongue in cheek. It's like serious, even though we're like lighthearted guys, but there is a little bit of like tongue in cheekness to some of the shit we do outside of the music, like the song titles or some puns or I don't know, stuff like that. Like a little bit, you know, like that's obviously like, I love it too. It's great, but it's like, hey, let's make a really long, like ridiculous title.
Yeah. Anything to catch that attention and just, you know, like, oh, I want to check out what that song sounds like. And then it actually has
back in the day, people were all about that one, you know, like I think it was like on maybe some compilation CD. They were like, oh, that's the fucking song, man. You got that one with the long name. And we're like, yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, I don't think we thought of it as a marketing thing at the time. Maybe when I named it, I thought of it as like, you know, I'll make it stick out a little bit or something. You know?
Yeah, it was pretty absurd, you know, like.
Yeah.
Well, and it is about like it's like an angst sort of song, the unwavering bludgeoning of a mind by the angst arising from an encounter with the void, existential sort of angst stuff. Whatever.
Yeah, that's good fodder, man.
I didn't think of that. Riffs.
Yeah. And then when did some of you guys start playing with other projects?
I don't know. I played a little bit throughout my life with other projects, not that much, but just a couple bands here and there. I don't remember.
Well, I had Dreaming Dead as a project that was running parallel to Exhausted Prayer for a long time. Liz ended up the singer, the guitar player, main person in the band, ended up moving up to Portland. Chris was at the time in the band at the time when she did too. And then I had a band called House of Rabbits that I was in for a while. That singer moved away, unfortunately, too, and that's not happening. But and I think Swansong picked up some stuff too. He's done a lot of music stuff on the side, but he picked up Cetacean a little bit later. But he can tell you about that.
Yeah, I hadn't really been in any other heavy projects. I mean, I studied like world music and actually played sitar and toured with an international sitar performer. And then
that's an instrument that's always fascinated me. Just looking at it and seeing somebody play, I'm like, dude, that thing is intense.
Well, mainly isn't sitar like so? It's not like compared to the normal Western scale. Like the scales are like there's tones in between tones, right?
Well, sort of. I mean, it's the major. It's the sitar is the major scale.
Really?
Not quite. I mean, the sitar has basically 18 strings, and you tune the underlying strings to the scale that you choose. So you can play it within a major scale, or you can shift the frets. They're actually movable, scalloped frets. But you can pick flat second, whatever, sharp fourth, whatever. You basically pick a certain set of notes for an ascending scale and a descending scale, and you stick to that. So that's called a rag or raga. And so yeah, I was exposed to that in college, and I think that definitely also influenced my playing. But yeah, hearing just sort of unconventional intervals, and then I got really into like kind of denser chords. Like I'd basically close my eyes and just kind of find a chord on the piano and try and like write a melody around that. But yeah, I'd played sitar with this guy Nishat Khan, and didn't really do any other heavy stuff until about maybe guess 5 years ago, I met my buddy Dave Seiss, and he had wanted to start a project that was kind of Cult of Luna, sort of more doomy, atmospheric oriented, and I'd only played like brutal black death metal. So I was like, sure, let's try it, and so that became Cetacean, and so we've released a couple albums. So that was pretty much my only other band. But besides that, I've like done like choral stuff and just random instruments. I play a lot of different instruments.
Does the sitar though? Does it have like the normal interval of notes, like a half step? Is there a note in between the half step?
Yeah. There's no semitones or anything, right? So on like the only way you're getting that on that instrument is by bending, right?
So I'll just say that there's two styles of sitar. There's the one that Ravi Shankar basically promoted, which is what most people are familiar with, and that's just basically playing the frets, playing really complicated rhythmic patterns and different sort of like tongue twister type melodies. And then the style that I learned under is I guess the most famous exponent is Vilayat Khan, and this style is primarily emulates the voice. So you do have half steps on the sitar. I mean, there's a couple missing half steps depending on the scale you're playing, but most of the melodies you play are actually pulled bend notes. So you can bend up to 4 or 5 notes, like up, or you can pre-bend and then release them. But you'll basically pull like 4 or 5 notes in a melody, just all from one fret. And so that's very physically demanding, and it's hard to be precise, and you can really just sour it up with like a slightly off note. So if you're purposely going for the semitones or the sort of in between notes, then that's great. But yeah, for the most part, unless you've been playing for like 10 years, then that's all accidental.
Your target notes are what's on the piano for the most part.
Okay.
It's right. It's not like quarter steps and shit. Like
it's mechanically the same as a guitar pretty much, except that it's scalloped so that if you push harder, then it'll bend slightly sharp. But yeah, there's a lot of pulling notes, so that style is unique.
But you like bend and the end of the semitones are out, right? As opposed to like having a set like skipping
semitone.
Like the microtonal guitars and all that stuff. But
the microtones. You're
not getting those microtonal notes,
Well, you are, except that you're passing through them. So the difference between Indian music and like Middle Eastern music is you're fixed on the microtones.
Like when you bend a note on the guitar, you're passing all those microtonal notes the same way.
True.
Like in between a B and a C note on a guitar is a few other sounds, but like and when you hit notes, a lot of times, like with blues, you'll do quarter step bends. You hit the note aggressively, and it's just stylistically like. It's not a regular C note. It's a little bit sharp. You're tweaking it because people just play aggressive and squeeze the notes, but nobody really talks about that as microtonal. But it's, you're hitting those other tones that are in there.
Guitar teacher over here.
Everyone goes to the Middle East or something. There's that Middle East scale that's got all those these fucking using some minor scale shit. It's
It reminds me of Pantera.
So as a guy that. Sorry, I just want to say something real quick before it gets too far away.
Before we make your podcast
I'm not boring. No. I'm generally interested about something, and I wanted to ask about it before we got away from it. Is the scalloped? So is it because does that mean that the top of the fret is flat? Like I think of scalloped potatoes, dude. Yes. Like flat.
So each fret is like this.
It's like
I can go grab it if you guys want to see it, but
we all grab our guitars.
Show here.
Fucking Ingrid Malmsteen, man. That's the fucking
grab it, dude.
The scalloped aspect of it, it's actually not scalloped. It's actually a round, basically a round bar, like a curved bar, and then it's empty underneath. Dude. So you basically have this like bowl-shaped neck.
Yeah.
Then like the sort of the rounded frets on top, and each of the frets is separate.
And the harder you press, the fret goes further into the neck.
Yeah, get that shit.
Yeah, get it.
Yeah, get the sitar, bro. Come on.
No, what I was before he grabs it, what I was gonna say is there's like a little like side note is Pantera used to tune to a quarter. It was like they used to tune to semi. It would be like D, but like a quarter step down. So like if you couldn't play if you ever want to jam with them, it sounds like shit. Like when I was a kid, I was like,
dude, that's so cool.
Sound right,
Here you guys.
Okay, well here, Metallica's Master of Puppets I heard the other day.
Look at that fucking thing, dude.
Metallica's tuned at 435 for Master of Puppets, and they sped the tape up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Yeah, there's all that 432 business. It's
All
like
right, so everybody be
yeah,
quiet.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's all
I saw
mystical.
something
Like
on YouTube.
Everyone be quiet so everybody can see Emmanuel's screen so they can see that thing, dude.
Yeah.
you
All
see
right.
the,
So let's put this on
there's
full
air
screen.
between the frets, pretty much.
Oh, cool, man.
Wow.
And it's pretty punishing because you basically only play one string the whole time with two fingers.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we'll do
wow.
a sitar lesson here. So
That's all good, dude. I'm
Sure,
interested.
bro.
So that's your root note, and a sitar is tuned to any pitch basically, but you basically stick to the scale from that root note. So right now I'm in C sharp, but you could tune it to C, you could tune it D. I've tuned it to A before. I did a solo for Murder Construct, and I tuned it down so to fit the recording. But so here's the scale I'm tuned to now. It has a flat second.
Tomorrow never comes.
Sick, dude.
Beatles, last song on Revolver.
So
I totally get it now. I totally get it. I was
Sick,
trying
yeah.
to imagine it, and now I totally fucking get it.
That right. That's the coolest moment of the podcast right there so far.
Yeah, dude, we still
15
got like an hour
episodes.
and some off.
The coolest.
You
That
don't
was
know,
so
dude.
cool.
The coolest one might be in like 45 minutes, dude.
the way you can tell
Oh, yeah.
like when someone starts playing a sitar, whether or not they actually know what they're doing or not, is if you hear vibrato, then they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because there is no such thing as vibrato in indie music, and that's it's funny. Like when I've like encountered people that pick it up first, and they're just like,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
no,
and it's like, nope,
That's me.
That's not
Fuck
allowed.
off, man.
they're not
Come
down, not down with the wiggles.
It does kind of sound
What
pretty
about
sick,
with
though.
like your voice? Can you do like vibrato with your voice in like the Indian classical music?
Well, there's
They do that.
different technical aspects, but the vibrato with the voice is called, or like the voice like vibrato is called something else called gummock, which is like.
Oh, okay.
Whoa, super
That's not a
wide.
vibrato.
There's a time and a
That's-
place.
That's a little different.
Yeah, but
It's like
the
no
way that they would
vibrato
do,
allowed.
it's like
Yeah.
a slight like undulation, like
It's not like some rock and roll shit.
Not like Bruce Dickinson vibrato.
Seems like a vibrato to me.
Vibrato, you mean like Bruce Dickinson?
yeah.
That's
Awesome.
rad, man. That's super rad.
So you want to hear the understrings? They're tuned to the scale. That might be out of tune, but
Whoa.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's
Those are
like those
sympathetic string
beads
strings.
that you walk through into the porno section at the rental set.
push the beads aside. Yeah.
Wayne's World, man. Wasn't it Wayne's World?
Oh, probably, yeah, dude.
Maybe. The dream sequence thing in Wayne's World.
Oh, totally.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Or wasn't that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
There's
right.
that too,
Yeah.
This is a straight sweep.
Yeah,
Fucking
just
rad, dude.
Well, thanks for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
So
Okay,
exhausted
that's
prayer, dude. Let's get back to
yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
Even though that
we
was
only had
super
one
cool,
song
dude. That
ever
was
that
super
had
fucking
sitar on
cool.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only
Swan-
one song with the sitar.
Swansong,
That was
you
actually one of
play-
my questions. Sorry, we're fucking over talking like a motherfucker right
It's
now.
hard with 8 people. Are you?
I know.
You also play saxophone, right?
Yeah. I've played sax for about maybe 8 years now. I also play vibraphone, different percussion. What else do I play? Just Eastern instruments, Asian instruments, piano. I just pretty much want to learn whatever I can get my hands on. So sometimes I get shit for that because I should be practicing guitar. But yeah, I like incorporating a bunch of different influences. Like I got into Tuvan throat singing, which the guys make fun of me for doing. But
Oh yeah, that's the. They talk about your throat thing.
we did a little bit of that on the new album. So yeah. So
No.
Yeah,
That's
this also
not
has
bad.
a solo throat. He has a throat singing solo a cappella on the.
yeah, outro. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. What song is that on?
The worst word.
It's on Worst Word. Okay, yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We should play that song at some point on here.
You can find out what the worst word is.
Yeah. I'll check it out. Let's all check it out.
The real riddle.
Dude, how about when did you guys connect with Will and get Will involved in maybe let's skip a little history and then go back to it later, just so we can hear that side
Yeah,
of the story.
yeah, maybe I can throw it down, and then Will can maybe say his piece too. But we started for like the new album. We started doing like pre-production. Yeah, it was like kind of the first album that we did like full pre-production for. And you know, Chris had been building up his mic and just sort of gear situation so that we could record. I mean, the main thing is you need a bunch of mics to record drums, right? Like you can record anything else with like one mic or something. Drums is the pain in the butt. So we got all the mics to record drums and stuff. We decided to do the whole thing ourselves. Do the pre-production, went in. We started recording the actual album. Richard, our former bass player, did the pre-production with us. But then it got to the point where I think we're just kind of starting to go our separate paths a little bit, where we really wanted to dig in and get a little bit perfectionist a little bit with this kind of stuff. You know, I mean, again, we did pre-production like really kind of deeply for the whole thing. And I think that we felt like we wanted to make sure that everybody that was involved was, you know, 110% and stuff. And I think Richard had a lot of other stuff going on. We kind of decided to go our separate ways. But, you know, when it got to that point, it wasn't too hard to think about like the 3 or 4 dudes in LA that are bass players that we know and that we like and that we think are good and that we, you know, like respect and everything. And I think what's most important to us is probably that we got a buddy that we can, you know, hang out during rehearsal or tours with or whatever, because that's always been kind of prime. That these also pairs kind of a brotherhood, and when we hit the road, it's kind of like going on the road with your best buds and stuff, you know. So yeah, with an idea to kind of maintaining that too, we ended up thinking, you know, Will, you know, who I played with in Dreaming Dead for a bit there, and played with him earlier on in incarnation of that band. And yeah, so it wasn't that hard. I mean, basically Will was the first guy that we contacted because that's who we wanted to go with. And he was like, oh, let me kind of talk it over, you know, think about family stuff and other commitments and everything. And yeah, then we were good to go. And he hopped in like so awesomely. We'd already recorded bass for the album, actually. Chris and I had recorded bass on the kind of songs that we had written. And, you know, so we kind of had to take a step back, but it was cool because we wanted Will to make his contribution because we know it'd be awesome. And in sharing the album with people, as, you know, kind of minimally as we've done here, as we're kind of, you know, getting it off the, you know, the presses or whatever, as they say, you know, people have really been saying, dude, that bass is like awesome. Like, oh, dude, yeah, you can really hear the bass. Like, oh yeah, Will like killed it on the bass on this one. Like, sweet, you know. So we, I mean, once we saw what he started to do and the commitment he had and what he was putting into it and playing some sweet ass shit, we were like, we made the right decision. And
yeah, let's hear Will's background a little bit before that. Like, what was your coming up, Will?
Yeah, sure, man. I mean, where do I start? I mean, yeah, it all started kind of with the Dreaming Dead stuff. I had joined like the previous incarnation of the band, which is called Manslaughter, back in like 2006. And that was Liz, the guitar player vocalist, Mike, and another mutual friend of ours, Manuel. This was going way back, and it was kind of weird. I think I saw, who did I see? I saw Liz play with Winter Thrall, like way back then, and I played a show at the Key Club, and I actually met Liz's sister in line. I was just there just to watch a show. I forgot who they were playing with. I think it was something like Hypocrisy or something like that. And I actually had met Liz's sister in line at the show. And I talked to her for a bit, and she said, oh, my sister's in this band, and she's actually forming a side project. They're looking for a bass player. And you know, I talked to Liz for like 10 seconds, and then I came back out, and I actually didn't see her. And then I saw an ad on Craigslist for a band. This was like 2 or 3 years later. And it turned out to be the same band. So I met up with Liz and Mike, 2006. Yeah, we just started playing shows. I mean, I was in there and just trying to do my thing. You know, I kind of didn't know anybody beforehand.
What's that like, dude? So tell me about that. Like,
it was intimidating, super intimidating, because both Liz and Mike were just, they were so technically proficient at their instruments. And I was coming in like, coming in playing on off of like some really immature like death thrash stuff that I had written with my friends in high school. But I mean, really just coming in and then and playing with Mike and especially as a bass player, just linking up that and having that rhythm section that really gets each other and is able to create a pocket and stay in that pocket is super important. And to
It's the backbone, dude. It's
yeah,
the backbone of everything.
Yeah, absolutely, and coming across Mike and just hearing his playing, it was so easy to kind of fall into that pocket with him and just be able to play around, do whatever you want, bounce ideas off of each other, because he had that technical know-how and he was able to perform at a level that was just out of this world for sure. So I continued with Dreaming Dead for a while, and then I eventually left the band, something in like 2007, late 2007. I came back to the band, I think 2015, something like that, 2016. And yeah, we come back, we start playing again. And I mean, during that time, I had, that whole time I had been in contact with Mike. I've been watching Exhausted Prayer. Exhausted Prayer just came up, when I had first seen and heard them. I think we played like a show with Dreaming Dead and Exhausted Prayer, or Manslaughter and Exhausted Prayer, like way back in the day. And that's when they first came into my radar, and they just blew me away. I mean, it was just like it was the perfect music for me, and it was just they immediately had made a lifelong fan. Just technical, progressive, like Black death metal. I mean, that was right up my alley, and I became a lifelong fan, and just started, got to know the guys, got to know, I knew Mike from playing with Dreaming Dead, and got to know got to know Chris, got to know Swansong, got to know Richard a little bit, and yeah, just
yeah, that's an interesting feeling, because I had the same thing with both my projects, dude. Like, I was a fan before I joined too, so I agree with you on having that situation where it's like, first you're a fan, then you're a part of it, and then you're like intimidated. Almost to the point where you're like, well, no, it's actually exactly like this. You are forced to try and jump up to their level, dude. You're trying to dunk. Everybody's dunking. You're like, I'm gonna get there, dude, and eventually you're dunking with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just and that was a big thing, when Mike asked me to join. I was, I had been out of projects for a while. I hadn't really been playing with anybody else too much. I have a project that's based out of Fresno, Gorshak, and they're really good friends of mine. But we our last release was in 2016, and we haven't really been doing much since then. So that's how long I'd been out of the game, as far as like playing with a band. And so to get a call from Mike, it was really unexpected. It was definitely very flattering, just that these guys would want to welcome me into their band. And yeah, so he was just like, okay, well, we're doing pre-production on an album, and I essentially had 3 weeks to come up with some bass lines, 7 or 8 songs. So definitely threw me to the wolves a little bit there, but it was just it was an honor, and I still consider it an honor, really, to lay down these tracks and really become a part of this institution, that's been part of the LA scene, been a part of my life for a long time, and yeah. So
I think you just realized the real reason we brought Will into the band, so that we can have some fresh blood, new blood in here that can like talk about how awesome we are without sounding conceited.
Awesome.
But we love each other. I mean, we're dear friends, So I mean, when we hit up Will, it was like we knew we could do it. And the thing was, we hit up someone who's like a kind of more active and in the scene stuff. We're like, we already know Will is soulmate kind of love dude. Like, let's get him going. And no big surprise, it just worked out super great.
that's important, you know, like bringing someone in that you know you're gonna vibe with versus like someone that you just knows like oh, this guy's the best in the scene, blah blah blah. So then you have to deal with that guy's in 20 bands and all that
I
stuff.
think
It's like, oh, this guy's gonna be in the practice room with us and fucking jamming with us, and we're gonna all get along. We're all gonna laugh. We're all gonna fucking go out, you know, do our thing, have a good time. It's gonna be like a part of what the whole project is, you know, which is like it's fun. It's not, you know, it's not trying to find oh, this guy was in this band, we got to get him. It's like, no, it's who's going to mesh the best with the band, you know?
Yeah. And clearly if you're doing something for 20 years, you know, maybe you're kind of getting a sense of, you know, what kind of people you might want to have around that can last for a long time, you know?
Exactly. After you've gone through enough folks for, you know, didn't work out, you know, you want that.
Yeah.
That's what, you know, with Odious, when we were looking for our, you know, when I moved to guitar for a little while and we were looking for a bass player, we were like, okay, who are our friends that we want in the band? You know, it wasn't like, who's gonna do it? You know, we weren't thinking. I mean, we knew they all could probably do it, but we wanted, like, we went through the people that we wanted around us. Like, that's all we went through. It was basically, that was like our first criteria. Like,
I would say like, you could teach your friends to play music. You can't teach a good musician how to be a good friend, you know? Like, right? Like,
nailed it, dude. That's nailing it.
Easier to get a good person to get good at their instrument rather than like a shitty person to somehow become a good person.
Totally.
That's now the best part of the interview right there.
Told you guys.
That's
wisdom from Heist.
Yeah, instead of live, laugh, love, I'm just gonna put that quote on my wall.
Yeah, it's kind of odd that for how long we've been together, you'd think that we would have like developed gripes or whatever, and it's like we've maybe had a few minor disagreements, but it's crazy like talking to other people in other bands, like, yo, did you kick out this guy? And so got kicked out mid-tour, and it's just like we've never really had any problems, and it's like we just want to hang out and play, and it's like there's no ego, and there's no like, hey, I wrote this and I want credit, and I didn't get paid enough last show, or hey, like, I'm tired of doing the merch, like, you guys do it, or whatever. We just kind of all go with the flow. So I think that's part of our spirit.
We had a bass player after our original bass player went to law school, and we didn't vibe with him, and, like, we kicked him out. It was just like, no. Like, when the vibing wasn't there, like, it wasn't something we were going to keep doing. Totally. But I like that. What is it? Yeah, live, laugh, love, right? The kind of Karen kitchen thing or whatever. I'm kind of inspired. Like, maybe I can write a song about I don't know, something Karen related, but, you know, whatever, make it about societal thing. But live, laugh, love. Die, cry, hate.
Yeah, die, cry, hate. That's literally what I was just thinking. I was waiting for you to say it.
Yeah, dude, we're simpatico.
Yep, yeah, totally. Die, cry, hate, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you know, I'm not really about like the hate or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Or die.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to die. You can cry all the fuck you want. I don't give a shit.
We'll just put cry on your wall. Cry.
Just wait up and see that one word. Cry. Period. Have a period after.
Everyone's like, all right, well,
just make sure you cry today. Okay, thanks. Thanks,
It's
Wall.
like, dude, why does it say cry on your wall? It's like my version of live, laugh, love.
Yeah.
We're all emo deep down, so.
Exactly. We got feelings. We're adults.
Take like any of our band logos and underneath just says cry.
Dude, that band name been taken though.
Yeah, I know. That'd be a great band name. What's your band?
Make like the most brutal, like a Discord style death metal band. Just name it Cry.
Cry. Yeah, we were tossing around this. We're tossing around this title, Street Weeper. It's like Street Sweeper, but Street Weeper.
Yeah.
But like,
totally.
I don't know. But anytime crying comes, it makes me think of like a teenage girl for some reason. So it's not.
I know. That's why you got to change it. You got to change it with some.
Well, that's why
music.
You would blow up with that name, dude. It would be like
Cry horns emoji.
Well, like
yeah,
Weeper,
exactly.
like Weeper. Yeah, we played
Street Weeper. Yeah, I like
Street,
that actually.
Street Weeper. Yeah. I love it. I mean, I'll probably use it for something, but I kind of just think of like a spurned teenager, like outside the club, and her boyfriend's inside or something.
It's up to us to change it, man.
Reaper's a pretty sick ass name, man. Got that Reaper thing going. Yeah. No. Weeper.
Like the Grim Weeper.
Grim Weeper.
Grim Weeper.
Like doesn't do the audience. It's like, hey man, play some Weeper, dude.
Yeah.
GW. Sorry, I fucked up.
The Crypt Weeper. All right, that's enough.
We go all day.
If we are going all day, Doom Scroller is my
Doom Scroller. Oh,
Alter ego band.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, Doom Stroller.
No, Doom Scroller. You know, like
Oh,
scrolling.
Scroller would have been
through.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
dude,
a
we're
We're
modern,
talking about
modern
doom scrolling.
twist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like a Street Weeper, Doom Scroller,
Yeah,
extra
yeah.
band kind of thing already. I can
We
tell.
play
Doom
show
band
together.
with the drum machine.
Yeah.
Do split.
Do a split, exactly. Yeah. If you're going for that like Death Doom, that's what I'm going for. So yeah.
We got some of that in the works, maybe.
Sweet.
Do we have like the Shitnal? What was that band?
And shitted.
That's not our band and shitted.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to start like the side project, like Toilet or whatever.
My
but,
old
like,
boss, that was his band.
What were
Yeah.
you? What were you? What Joel? Acidity? Was that one of yours?
Oh, I don't know.
Acidity.
But in shitted, I think wins everything. I think that's like.
Wait,
my-
what?
my
Say that
favorite
again.
one.
Wait, say that one again.
In shitted.
And shitted.
In shitted, yeah.
It should be like inshitted.
That one came out of the
Inshitty.
bowels of Century Media,
Yeah, I worked
Room or
at
whatever.
Media in the warehouse. You know,
Yeah.
we had all kinds of titles. You know, like
There was this
Best-
one band I
best
remember back in the day. It
environment.
was called they're all tough, like a super tough. It's just all infected scrotum. I'm like, ow, dude, like, no, like it just like hurt my balls looking at it. I was like, like I should turn the page of this fucking.
there's the band Anal Vomit. I think they're from like fucking Venezuela or some shit. But the back, it's like they're wearing corpse paint, and like one guy's got like a leather jacket and a bullet belt. He's holding an axe, and he's like, the dick's hanging out. He's not wearing any
pants.
Like that's his thing. Every fucking like, yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Well, literally, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Anal Vomit. I highly recommend it. I've never heard it before, but no, I've heard it. They're all right.
I highly recommend it. I've never heard it. I think I've heard it.
I mean, I must have heard him. Heard him a little bit, you know, like.
I got a buddy, Dan.
little
He's
bit.
been on the podcast before. There's been times where he's been like, I definitely get that as a tattoo, maybe.
Well, I think it's safe to recommend that Anal Vomit just from the dude's picture alone.
Yeah.
That's a risky
I went on
Google,
Google
yeah.
and looked at it. They got some normal photos, which is whack, but there's a few where there's more than one where he's doing that no pants thing. I don't know what.
Damn.
I think they're Colombian, but the humor they got going on in their little clique, I can get down with that, dude. That's cool. It's just cool.
Not
It's an
wearing your
inside
pants in
joke
a
with them.
picture.
Yeah. Half-dressed metal.
Like, you know, because I get it, because I like, you know, I'm into the black metal and shit, but I would live out here. It's a fucking nice area and shit, by the beach and stuff, and I'm not all dark and disturbed and shit. So like, same with those guys. Probably they're fucking trying to play some black metal punk grindcore shit down there, and like they're not taking themselves too seriously. Guys gonna
Yeah, band practices
fucking
them
out.
cracking up and saying funny like fucking one-liners to each other, like in shitted.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't get over in shitted.
Yeah, it's not that it's not that grim. It's not that grim. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you can make grim art and not be a grim dude, you know.
Like Cephalic
Yeah.
Carnage, like
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
cephalic.
Black
exactly.
Metal Sabbath or whatever and all that.
Oh yeah.
But they would
I
play
think-
shows with corpse paint on and come out like right
Oh
sometimes.
no, they
Oh,
had
it's
the
Cephalic.
no, they
Yeah,
had the
cephalic.
they had masks on. And
Oh,
actually,
masks.
they get for Black Metal Sabbath, they would come out with masks, and actually they gave me one, and I fucking just lost it.
Oh,
Sick,
sick,
dude.
dude. Sick,
But-
dude.
I
Yeah,
know.
cool.
Yeah, I was in shitted.
That's kind of nice. Don't have to wash off, so you don't have to wash off
You're
the
an
corpse paint.
shithead.
Don't have to wash off the corpse paint. Just put on the mask,
Yeah, it's way easier. Yeah.
the corpse mask.
Yeah,
It's kind of a
exactly.
little cheap, but whatever.
Exactly.
Oh, there you go. That's pretty good. They should make something like that, you know, just a full-on like Abbott like mask, like Freddy Krueger back in the day.
Yeah.
So you don't have to.
Copycat.
So speaking of corpse paint,
Yeah. Fucking hell yeah.
Nice.
So you know, we dabbled.
We dabbled.
We
Best
dabbled.
shit, dude.
Well,
Maybe
you know, and I think-
2 shows ever we had corpse paint. I
Like
think.
Swansong's
One of
kind
them.
of got like a Peter Chris kitty cat thing going, right?
No man, I think I'm the most evil looking.
Does,
That's more,
does
Who's the
BJ have
jeans guy?
Blue jeans?
Yeah, who's the jeans guy?
That's our Blake, our original bass player.
Yeah.
I think he
Mike,
takes
Mike
cake.
with the stocking arms. Yeah.
Yeah,
what's-
he's the most gothic in the band.
what's
It
going
was
on
a
with-
gothic club.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, we were performing it like so. This was a little bit of a special sort of occasion. Swansong's girlfriend's parents like worked at this gothic club or ran a night at this club or whatever, and like we performed, it was usually not like a metal sort of club or whatever,
Like
or
industrial goth club, yeah.
but they got us to perform, and we you know, we got the corpse paint going
Did it
kind of
up.
for fun. But we thought it was kind of cool too. I'm not gonna lie, when I was like 15 years old, I thought it was kind of cool that guys like were wearing corpse paint in the forest, like whatever. But
I took a band photo in corpse paint too, dude, but I can't find it. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I think we like had to take it to fucking Walgreens to print it out.
yeah, well, it's kind of funny, right? Like, you got like, where are you gonna go get the corpse paint, right? Like Party City, like it's not that brutal.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Fucking, yeah, Count Dracula's fucking makeup and shit.
Holy shit.
Can I just ask about a couple things I wanted to get on to? Was Mike, you played with Terrorizer, or are you still playing with Terrorizer? Is that still active? You're involved, or
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, that was like totally sweet or whatever. I think people had like asked Oscar to, you know, like do a Terrorizer thing for a while. And I think it was like Jesse Pintado's like 40th birth or 50th birthday or something like this, or what would have been his 50th, something like that. And they kind of knew Leon Del Muerte from, you know, Phobia and Murder Construct, all that stuff. And they had a drummer they were working with, and it wasn't working out. And Leon was in a relationship with Liz from Dreaming Dead at the time. And she was like, why don't you ask Mike? And I gave it a shot. And yeah, it was great. We played a show here in LA, and it was awesome. I mean, I like opportunities to work on the chops, you know, and kind of saying yeah to a project that's kind of gnarly as that, you know, with that, you know, playing that record in its entirety or whatever.
the
like
World Downfall record? Is that the one? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, playing that for its entirety for each of the shows. Yeah, great record. And, you know, so it's a tall order or whatever. But after that show, we got a few more. We played here and there throughout the States, kind of some one-off shows. We did a tour in Europe, which was awesome. It was like my only time ever really getting across the pond. And it's fun to play that album. I mean, I love playing my own music, of course, but you know, the fan response, you know, in the cities we play out where people were hip to Terrorizer and what that means for grindcore and extreme music, people were just like losing their shit, you know. And everybody knows the album, you know, so like for certain songs when it's really kicking off, it just goes nuts and it's real fun or whatever. And then things kind of slowed down, and you know, like full disclosure, you know, I'm like an alcoholic dude, and you know, I've been mostly sober for a little while now, but yeah, I took some time off I went to rehab, been to rehab a few times. And you know, when I got out, we talked to those guys, and they decided to, you know, move on. And actually a good buddy of mine, Adam, from Cartilage, and previously with Ion, yeah, is playing with them now. Although I don't know how much they're obviously not playing now with the Rona.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I think it was slowing down a little bit. Oscar is, you know, an older dude, and he's got a family. He's not trying to do a whole lot of stuff with Terrorizer or whatever, but it was a great opportunity for me, for sure. Upped my drumming game even a little bit. It was cool to play some shows with like, you know, 2,000 people, and I had to be like, all right, Mike, you know, keep your shit together.
What year span were you in the band, so people who are listening would be able to know if they saw Terrorizer with you on drums?
Okay, well, now here's another thing too about Terrorizer, right? So I was playing in Terrorizer LA because Pete Sandoval of Morbid Angel fame, of course, right, has like, he plays under the original Terrorizer name, and that's all good, that's great. So we were doing Oscar Garcia's version. He was the singer and wrote, you know, maybe half the tunes on the original album. So we were playing as Terrorizer LA. So I'm actually the first ever drummer for Terrorizer LA.
Nice.
And there's only 2 of us. So I guess all things told, there's ever only been 3 kind of Terrorizer related drummers: Pete Sandoval, me, and Adam Human.
Wow.
Yeah, and the live, there's like a couple YouTube videos of you playing, and it's a great angle where you can see what you're playing on drums, but you can also see the audience going fucking
I think that's the Roxy one, I think.
Yeah, I watched that the other day, just getting ready for today, and I was like into it. It's a great fucking video, yeah.
Thanks, dude. And you know what? I'll point you guys towards this too. We played a fest in Oakland. What the hell was that fest called? Do you guys remember? Because I think Exhausted Prayer played too.
Blizzard Fest?
Dead Fest?
Dead Fest?
Yeah, Greg California, I think.
I don't remember, but there is a Terrorizer like Bandcamp for a live recording we did of the album in its entirety from that fest. And everybody was exhausted. It was like 4 billion degrees in the venue. We were like the last act to play, and like it was like zero energy, and it was the best we ever played. And it's all recorded and mixed by our buddy Avinash, who lives up in the Oakland area, who is involved in the a lot in the scene and stuff.
Dude,
so anybody who has a chance, interested in me or my drumming or Terrorizer stuff, check out that live Terrorizer recording from Oakland. It's sweet.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Plug.
dude, I'm super honored. Full disclosure, you just gave some full disclosure. I had no idea that you had drummed for them. I went into this. It's hard for me to gather all the information for these things, with 3 kids and 50 plus hours a week and all that shit. I really try, and I did squeeze in a good amount of your guys' material before this, but I didn't know that, and I love that. I really do love that, because I'm a big grind fan, and Terrorizer was one of those bands for me that still to this day I put on that record and I fucking rock the fuck out, it's dude.
Killer record. I subbed here and there for Phobia too, playing a few of their shows on and off kind of. So I've
Sick.
I can play like kind of fast enough. Always had like real fast hands. So there have been a few bands where they're like, dude, can this guy come in and like fill in or help out or whatever? Because I can, play fast as fuck drums.
Yeah. Actually, the last show that Joel and I went to, well, I don't know if you went to a show after that, but we saw Phobia in my hometown. They played a Winter's Tavern, and that was the last gig that I was able to go to before everything shut down. But dude, Phobia rips too.
Dude, I might without down in San Diego County.
No, this is up in Bay Area, right south of San Francisco and Pacifica.
Basically San Francisco. Yeah. Basically, yeah. I was on mushrooms for that. It was pretty. It was
the best show ever.
Dude, we had a fucking.
No, it was actually
time,
they had a full barbecue for like a free food and shit in the back, and like it was awesome, man.
I played with them out in Hawaii, which is crazy because nobody plays in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
But somehow, like, they have, like, in Oahu, like, they had their, like, kind of grind punk scene, which isn't huge, but not bad, right? And they flew Phobia out there for, like, 2 shows. Very interesting, dude. Nobody plays Hawaii. So, like, that was pretty sweet.
Where did you play?
I have a serious question, because I need to know if there's another death metal or metal guy out there that wears sandals. Did you see anybody wearing sandals at those shows, dude?
Oh, well,
On
you know
stage.
what? There's definitely kind of like an island vibe coming from all the dudes. I mean, there's a laid backness. The second you get off the plane into the airport, it's just like coming from LA or whatever. It's just like, whoa, the vibe is way more chill. So I don't remember any footwear exactly, but it was chill. It was chill vibes. I was also at that time, and we were all 3 sheets to the wind most of the time as well.
Yeah, exactly. So Anthony, you want to tell him why you asked that question, or?
Well, because I'm the sandal guy, dude. I wear sandals all the fucking time, and I get so much shit for it. You
can't wear them on stage.
The bass player.
He did a whole tour.
I do both of the full scale tours. All the performances I've done, like 99% of the shows that I've done are in sandals or barefoot.
What gives him more fuel is telling him he can't do it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
We should have never done.
I go out and buy a new pair as soon as somebody tells me I can't wear them, dude. I go buy another pair.
I mean, there's nothing more brutal than you sing this brutal death metal band, and there's a front monitor, the singer's growling, puts his foot up there, and you just see these toes, right?
Yeah, dude. My athlete's foot, my unclipped toenails, dude.
I mean, it is pretty brutal if you think about it.
No, I've seen bass players in particular. I think somehow, like, I've seen like shoeless for the most part. I don't know what's the deal with that.
Actually, I was just about to bring up the bass player Gorod.
It's almost like they want to like dig into the earth more to just like get it or something. I don't know. I kind of respect it.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, barefoot's cool.
The only way we'll be able to hear ourselves on stage is actually through our feet, because the monitor situation sucks for bass.
Rubber just like dampens it. You need straight from the body, like down your bones into the stage, and you can feel that vibration better.
Physics, bro.
And all you motherfuckers know that you smelt your dirty ass socks on all the tours in your bags, and where were mine? Mine were fucking nowhere. I had no socks, no smelly socks in my bag, dude.
Sick, dude. Let's tour in January and see how that goes.
Let's put that to the test.
Well, I'm looking for steel toe sandals for work and toe warming sandals for fucking January.
Running the gamut there, dude.
May I suggest Crocs?
Vibrams, dude. Those
Yeah, I
Vibrams.
suggest-
Just get the front of the Vibrams and put like fucking cotton in them and just stick my toes. All right, enough.
All
of
right,
that.
I'm
so-
gonna see Anthony in the next fucking Shark Tank. Fucking trying to pitch it. Fucking-
I wanted to interject. So I remember playing shows with you guys like back in the day. You know, like I'm like multiple times. We
Aptos
totally.
Club back in the day, right?
You played up there?
Aptos Club, really?
Yeah, we played that.
I'm
Santa Cruz?
literally.
Oh,
I'm literally.
really?
I'm in Aptos right now.
Yeah, it was Exhumed, Decrepit Birth, and Exhausted Prayer.
Fuck yeah,
Sick.
dude.
That's so good.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And,
All right, let's hear
we-
about that. Let's hear it.
We have been just real quick.
That was
we-
like the first Exhausted Prayer tour, maybe. Yeah,
Oh, really? Fuck yeah.
that
dude.
might have been. Yeah.
shit.
But yeah, I just remember we played that show. Our buddy Elias, he maybe hooked us up with that.
Was that
He
was
was-
that the Blue Lagoon? Was that the Blue Lagoon in Santa Cruz?
No,
Is
this
it-
is the Aptos.
It was the Aptos
Club.
Club. He said
Aptos,
it was.
Aptos Bar. Something.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay,
like
wow.
right outside
No.
Santa Cruz or something.
It was
Yeah, 'cause we-
Exhumed and
We
Decrepit.
played with
and-
Ghoul.
Exhumed, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
scored on that one. That was cool.
Oh yeah.
It was like the first day of the Exhumed tour or some shit. And yeah,
Didn't
we
they-
got hooked up with
Yeah,
Exhumed.
I remember
Our
that.
first time in Mexico, we replaced Exhumed, and the show was like totally fucking sold out because like it's supposed to be Exhumed, but maybe they put us because we had an EX in our name too.
Yeah.
They're like, thoughts and prayers, whatever.
Yeah.
Less work to do to change the flyer.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember
Yeah.
that was such a sick show, dude. That was so fun.
I might have found it October 27th, 2005. Exhumed played Aptos Club. If you guys were on that bill.
I think that's probably it, dude.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It was early. We used to play shows with you guys in LA too. I think in San Diego and stuff. I feel like
Oh yeah,
San Diego a bunch.
a bunch.
Yeah,
like,
Playhouse.
Grave Rot shows a lot, like with
yeah,
Trish.
Grave Rot. Yep, Trish and yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Trish. Yeah.
Totally,
yeah,
dude.
I
Yep,
recall that.
yep.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
We've been
this.
fucking
days.
around in California for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, the early
yeah.
2000s, like Mexico and San Diego were our spots more so than LA.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
San Diego more than LA.
I think I went to a lot of shows you guys played at also, like
Oh,
beyond the ones we did together. But
Oh,
I,
great.
you know what I mean? Yeah, I remember like way back. Like,
Oh, so you were living in San Diego?
yeah, I'm from San Diego. I'm here now.
Oh, yeah,
so-
cool. But,
Yeah, yeah.
But you played up there maybe with the Decrepit Birth and shit. Yeah.
For sure, dude. Did you guys play Brick by Brick at any time with us, or like
No,
We
never
played
played
Brick by Brick. Dude,
mhm.
We played with Sleep Terror. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brick by
I would
Brick.
think I was at that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what.
Oh, with what was it with
Scourge?
Decrepit or sorry?
I
Scourge?
don't know if Decrepit Birth, it was Sleep Terror. I remember. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Scourge.
Play.
Does Scourge play that?
I think I was there, but we didn't play.
Okay.
I don't know why.
we
Anyways,
played
but
some shows at Discord for sure. We played at Tijuana at the Hard Rock Cafe with Discord one time. That was badass. That
Oh
was
man.
awesome. Show.
did you guys
Yeah,
like
that was-
remember way better than we do with shows? Like, I'm so bad. I'm like, I can't. I'm like,
I'm the
yeah,
worst.
dude, it's like a blur. It's crazy. I guess. I'm
Yeah.
You
just-
know, there are certain ones where we've like told the tale of the show like
Yeah.
over the years or something enough that like we remember it now, or we remember whatever version it is that we've created over the years.
Yeah, yeah,
But I think
totally.
if there's not like the Aptos Club, I think we heard that there was like a meth lab in it some years later, and they had to shut it down.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Oh, shit.
So certain,
Yeah,
certain shows,
I didn't hear
some
that.
shows,
That
yeah.
could be true. I think they might have been selling coke or something. I don't know if it was like a meth lab.
Things get all twisted up, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
They get bouncers. They got
I heard they
drugs.
found some bodies under that place, man.
It's like
Yeah. That place
Purple.
serves. That place is called it's called Burger. It's called Burger Period is the name of it now. And
Oh, yeah.
literally, like I could walk there in like 8 minutes from where I'm
oh
at right
wow,
now.
yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, and it literally
Cool.
just super bomb burgers now, and it's all like done up now. Everything's the same though, and I just look over at the corner where the stage used to be, and I'm like, I used to fucking get down on that fucking thing.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
okay.
now
That's a
just
trip.
like
Yeah.
a mom and son like eating their burgers now out there. I'm like, oh, that's fucking
Yeah,
weird. dude.
yeah.
That's weird.
That's like for some reason that place is like where everyone meets each other. Like
Yeah.
you met we met you there. I met James
Yeah,
King
exactly.
there, and then Paul Ryan and
Right.
Origin guys and all that,
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
like that was a trip, man. But
Yeah.
that's
It's a
so
weird
cool that you
spot.
guys played that show, dude. That's sick. I was actually like looking up flyers, but I couldn't find. You know, it was so long ago. I can't.
It does make me
Yeah,
sad
yeah,
on
like-
how many flyers that I should have kept that I don't have.
know.
And
Yeah.
can't find them on fucking line anywhere, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
Every now and
people
then they
make
come
up-
media, you know, so that like there's no there should be an internet archive from fucking black metal shows. underground 90s death metal shows, the Showcase Theater and the Whiskey.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ.
The Showcase, dude.
Yeah, Showcase, man. Good times out there.
That
sure.
place was so fun. Like,
so great.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get up to the Pound?
Yeah. No, we asked. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was thinking Brick by Brick. No, that was my bad.
I never played
the Pound SF.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Did you guys ever get up to that venue?
There,
I feel like we played there once.
I did. Shoot, maybe Dreaming Dead's played there or something. Yeah, I think Dreaming Dead's played there a few times, maybe like on like a national tour or something. Because Pound's kind of bigger, right?
No, it was.
Oh no, it's Brick by Brick that's the bigger one.
They're kind of similar, actually. I like think of them as the same place. I get them mixed up. The Pound.
That's probably why I'm like, yeah.
They're like the same thing.
Basically the same size.
Just San Diego and SF version.
Brick by Brick is like the SeaWorld exit. Like, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
But I think they're still around. Yeah.
God, the Pound. I don't know.
I was just hearing you guys talk about this Showcase, and I was like, okay, there's just a venue that we have in common there. I was just wondering if you guys had that one up here.
Well, what was the place like northern San Diego County, like inland a little bit? Turtle. What the place is that?
Oh, the Jumping Turtle in San Marcos.
Turtle, yeah. Well, actually, Exhausted Prayer never played there, but I don't know. It just kind of popped in.
All those places are gone now. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be even worse now.
Yeah.
Jumping Turtle's the longer, narrow one with this like stage on the side, right? And you're facing the bar. Is that how the Jumping Turtle's set up?
Yes.
Like, and it's a small floor, like maybe not even 8 rows of people, 10 rows of people could go back before.
Yeah. But there's like more nooks and crannies to the bar.
Yeah, it's like a longer, narrow type venue where it's wider than deep when you're on stage. I don't know.
Yes,
maybe.
I think that's right though. Yeah.
it's like this.
I'm like directing fucking airplanes, fucking
walking like an Egyptian and shit, dude.
Some bangles going on in this. I like that song actually.
I love that song, by the way. It's a fucking awesome song.
Yeah, the Bangles are great. Yeah.
I listen to like classic rock radio all day. I drive for Lyft and stuff, so I listen to like classic rock all day. They they play that song every 2 hours, and I'm stoked every time it comes on.
Nice.
One of the most jamming songs that it's fucking badass.
Hell yeah.
Anyway.
I'm curious, what are your some of your guys' top musical influences? I tend to keep asking this question to our guests. I guess I'm that guy. So what's like I guess we'll start with Mike. Who are your like biggest influences, like with any instrument really, but drums or whatever?
Yeah, sure. I mean, and again, like I I've always composed music for Exhausted Prayer. I started playing guitar before like drums and stuff.
Nice.
I overtook guitar with drums at some point, mostly because I was needed as a drummer in bands.
Same thing with me, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Relatable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it happens. It happens for sure. But for like Exhausted Prayer early on, I mean, definitely the black metal stuff like Emperor, and even Cradle of Filth early on, and also for my drumming, like Nick Barker's drumming on early Cradle of Filth. Like I love his drumming. I love his drumming on Lockup too.
Me too.
Brilliant. One of my faves. I love going exactly for how that guy's playing drums. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I caught some Cradle vibes. I caught some early Dimmu vibes at times.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah, like that melodic Norwegian.
Yes, Adrian Erlandson from At the Gates. I mean, like I do a lot of thrash, duka real fast. So you got we call it At the Gates beat or Slayer beat, So that kind of stuff. But also early on, by the time we were getting Exhausted Prayer going like late high school, and then we were kind of into college ages and stuff. We're all listening to like jazz and stuff. So I mean, I love like Miles Davis, classical music, John Coltrane. I mean, like the whole gamut. Also. Like fusion jazz or whatever as well, but also like for me and for Exhausted Prayer writing, like Yes and like progressive rock. I mean, Yes is one of my favorite bands, like just 3 of their albums kind of. But I speak for myself, but I think the other guys too probably a little bit. But when I structure a long song, and some of these Exhausted Prayer songs are like 6, 7, 8 minutes long. I think maybe Mind Clock up to the longest. I think a big influence is definitely progressive rock and like kind of Yes. And I'm going in terms of like arranging the song in that way, with the metal kind of sound or whatever, and then I think as Exhausted Prayer has evolved, and I've learned more about harmony, approaching more like jazz harmony and seeing how to incorporate that in the extreme metal context that we work in is something that I'm kind of got going now. But Emperor, At the Gates, Slayer, even Metallica and Megadeth early on as I was younger, Cannibal Corpse, Deicide. Yeah.
Sick.
Typo Negative.
What about you, buddy?
Oh yeah, one of my
Swansong.
favorite bands.
Oh, hell yeah. What about you, Swansong?
Yeah, pretty much everything he said. Definitely into prog rock and classic rock. But yeah, Typo Negative. I mean, it's kind of funny when I haven't listened to some of our albums in a long time. Then I listen to them and it's like I hear, yeah, different influences. But yeah, there was for a while, maybe 5 years in the early 2000s, where I pretty much only wore Typo Negative shirts. I had like 10 of them. So they were a huge influence on me.
Never listened to them.
And
Not one song, Joseph.
Not one.
tell me you didn't see Bloody Kisses and like Blockbuster Music, and you didn't listen to that.
Well, we're
Younger, I don't even
we're
know.
older. So,
Yeah, he's a little old.
Yeah.
Come on.
I missed all that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like.
Come on,
So
man.
what the
Don't you
fuck's
remember
Blockbuster
Music
Music?
Plus?
Yeah.
I remember Blockbuster, but
Let's go to Warehouse in Circuit City, and then
Yeah, let's
afterwards
go
we'll
to
go to Blockbuster and rent some movies. And we'll-
Come on.
We'll meet up
Yeah.
at Sam.
Swing by.
yeah.
I do remember Sam Goody at the mall.
Yeah,
but-
Okay, well
Nice.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
But yeah, I mean, Enslaved is a huge one. Some people have compared us to them, which I guess is not quite subliminal, but
I'll inject. You can continue with it. Opeth, I think, is an influence
Yeah,
for us too. And
for
speaking of a band that's also
Yeah.
extreme metal, but influenced by prog rock, clearly.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Totally, dude.
yeah, pre-damnation.
Sorry, Martin Lopez.
Yeah.
Martin Lopez drumming for Opeth.
Yeah.
For Opeth too. Big for me.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What else? Yeah, I had a pretty long jazz phase where I got super into Lester Young, and everyone's like Coltrane, Davis, but like going back into the 40s and even the 30s and like early Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker and just how Max Roach, Art Blakey, like those guys played the blasts before anybody.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying.
I think a lot of people don't appreciate like how intense that music was and just how much conversation and
Absolutely.
the new ideas and the idea that you'd like
Yeah.
take snippets of songs that like people heard and then you just totally throw them on their head and
Yeah.
be able to speak through the music. So I feel that's a pretty big thing for me. I mean, Indian music, obviously.
Mhm. It's
Let's see
awesome.
what else. I mean, like early alternative stuff like Hum. There's a band Arctic Sleep that's kind of a Hum worship. Failure. Like we definitely grew up in the alternative scene.
Like
Soundgarden.
Soundgarden.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Love that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, yeah, Soundgarden was a pretty big one for me. Just hearing the alternate tunings, and I was like always like, okay, this new song came out, let me figure out the tuning. So I'd hear it on Saturday Night Live before the album came out. I'm like, all right, I was the first person to put the tab up for Pretty Noose, and
Oh fuck yeah.
so yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, claim to fame.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were that
I probably-
famous.
How did I never hear that?
I probably looked at it.
Damn, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, the ASCII guitar in it. That was me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty open to anything. I mean, I guess early on, I studied classical piano, and I gravitated towards like the dark, kind of ethereal stuff like Debussy and Rachmaninoff, Prokofiev.
Oh yeah.
So I started playing like all this like heavy stuff when I was just like 6 and 7. My mom was just like, "Why don't you want to play like fun songs?" And I was like, "I just like the feel." So those were kind of like the early influences for me. And so when I discovered metal, I was like, "All right, I'm already there."
You were black metal before you knew it, dude.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I have like an ongoing question. Like, what's like the most? I mean, of course, like Beethoven and all the like shit you hear like all the time, which is amazing. But what do you think is like the most intensely dark classical music? Like, you know, you're talking about the different. Obviously, there's the Russian composers and the different.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's a lot, but there's particularly
Yeah.
the first guy that comes to mind is I forgot his first name, but his last name is Gesualdo. And he wrote these choral motets. It's like early Renaissance stuff, but apparently he like killed his adulterous lover, and to avoid getting like thrown in jail, he walled himself up in his castle. So he was like some like nobleman, and he just wrote these like twisted, really fucked up harmonies, and like you got to check it out. Gesualdo. It's like the most insane. Like he's like centuries ahead of his time. Like just really crazy stuff with like dark lyrics, like about like wanting to kill himself and that no one loves him and all this stuff. And it's like it's the most twisted stuff.
What
that's
time
the-
period is this from?
I think it's like 1400s, 1500s.
Jesus, that's like right after the Black Plague.
Like,
Yeah, I might be wrong. Maybe a little bit later, but yeah.
So
it's
he
very
invented
early.
black metal, basically. That's what you're saying.
Dark metal, maybe.
Dark metal, yeah, whatever.
It's
Yeah,
like Mortiz before Mortiz.
Yeah, yeah.
And off like prelude C sharp minor.
Dungeon
I
synth.
mean, you got the backstory, you got the music, you got the death, the murder. I mean, it's just
Chris, did you say that maybe this guy from the 1400s, maybe he is Mortiz?
It is Mortiz.
It is Mortiz.
yeah. Damn, man. Imagine living back in those days, dude. It'd be rough.
I know, dude.
Yeah,
But-
Carlo Gesualdo, late 1500s.
Bring
Yeah,
out
okay,
your
yeah.
dead. Bring
That's
out
like
your
after
dead,
Baroque,
dude.
whatever. Yeah.
What is that? That a Monty
or during.
Python opening? Bring out your dead. But that's like how it really was.
Oh,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Fucking wagon would be pulled through town, and you just throw your dead family
Yeah,
members
they got
on
the
top of
wheelbarrow
it
and
and
shit.
You know,
see you
Casey,
later.
Casey, I think one of the places to look for like dark classical is like film scores.
Yeah.
Well, Bernard
Like,
Herrmann.
you
Oh,
know,
for sure.
like,
I love
like
it.
Bram Stoker's Dracula, dude.
Oh,
You know,
fuck yeah,
What
dude.
about like,
Yeah,
sister, like Bartok, that kind of stuff? You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like the 20th
it's good.
century.
It's
Dude,
hard
the
for you to
20th
think.
century stuff is the darkest shit, right? Like just musically, like the kind of quasi-atonal stuff, like
Mhm, yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Alfred
yeah, yeah.
Hitchcock movies, you know that.
Oh
kind
no,
of,
totally. And I love all that stuff so much, dude. Like,
yeah, yeah.
all of
I
it.
like
Yeah.
that kind of guitar, 20th century guitar, like real, like
Yeah.
because it's metal, you know, like they're doing all
Yeah.
this mapping. That's where it's at, man. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, I don't know.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. No, yeah.
Yeah, because like they're using a lot of weird stuff, and I think that is the most. I mean, this crazy metal shit's crazy. The progressive music that's out there now, but I think the 20th, like music from the 50s, like that they were writing like that atonal and 20th century classical. I think that's the most like complex, fucked up music. And like after that, they really mellowed out because they're like, nobody's gonna listen to this bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like for a really, really small subset of people, you know. Like I think it's pretty cool. Like what's that guy? Schoenberg.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Schoenberg.
yeah.
Schoenberg,
Schoenberg,
yeah, like
Schoenberg,
that
whatever.
kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Like, I love that shit, but like, yeah, but I listen to like
Yeah.
God, fucking. I'm gonna listen to
yeah.
Beatles and Metallica.
I think probably every dude on this chat right now is probably down for some like 20th century atonal fucked up shit because we're just those types of dudes or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know though. Like I love all that stuff, but I still think like I don't know. Like when I was in school, like, and I would see these piano players play at the concert hour and like doing like Beethoven shit. They're just like up and down the piano, like, and I'm just like, dude, like what movement is that? I'd be looking on my pamphlet, like, Jesus, dude. And it's just like, fuck, like, and I loved all the different stuff, but Beethoven always got to me. It was like the most like heavy or something. I don't know.
Beethoven's incredible, dude.
Oh yeah, man.
Dude, yeah. I mean, there's something about Beethoven stuff that like there's a reason that he's like the one or one of the ones because you hear stuff even on the radio, it pops out like nothing else. On the
I always
classical
told
station.
kids like Beethoven's the best. I'm like Mozart's real playful, is virtuoso, fast,
virtuoso.
Beethoven, like,
yeah,
let's just generalize and say he's the best classical musician of all time. Just to throw a name out there, but he's more serious. Bach is really old and like, he's the original guy, but then Beethoven like really fucking laid it down.
Bach's like psychedelic, like tapestries, and they come. It's like he invented that whole like, and I freaking love Bach.
Bach's great. Yeah,
and he's got some dark shit too. Yeah,
it was like a little more mathematical as he was kind of like putting it together, But then the place everybody else took it was great too. But I think we all like Philip Glass from the 20th century.
I love minimalism, man.
Yeah,
I love all that stuff.
Philip Glass is awesome. Yeah.
Steve
we listen to all types of shit. All four of us listen to all the stuff. All the stuff.
Terry Riley, all those guys, man. Yeah, that stuff.
Fucking Disgorge, man. Cranial impalement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Disgorge San Diego, not Mexico, man.
yeah, totally right. I remember Diego's like, we like challenged them to play like a show to like for the name, dude. They like weren't down. So
it's like a rap battle, but it's two Disgorgers.
Yeah,
it's like
battles, like like what's my favorite shit on the YouTube? One of my favorite things, they do like guitar battles, where it's like a couple riff wars is what it's called. Or like this guy plays some metal riffs. It's like a rap battle, but they're doing it with like fucking metal riffs. It's fucking great, dude.
Like that they wrote.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Like one guy plays some shit, and then the next guy comes out. He's like, "That shit's whack, bro. Check out this riff." And like, it's pretty good. Like sometimes there's a hype guy back there fucking making funny faces.
Nice.
It's really good. Like it's. I mean, like yeah.
I'm down.
It's like some metalcore guys that are playing, but they're good and shit.
Really?
So like if we're on this progression here, Chris, like what are some of your biggest influences?
You know, well,
Disgorge, cranial impalement.
you know, like,
I'm taking notes. Okay, yes.
Like, I'm like, if we go way back to the beginning, like, what gets me into music, I would say like, you know, Guns N' Roses, that kind of shit. But like in the early '90s, like Queen and U2, like fucking Brian May, The Edge from U2, and Slash would be like my three most important like people for the guitar. And then I went down like the route of getting into metal, you know, like listening to like Slayer, Metallica, and then like it just, you know, snowballed again into Cannibal Corpse, like just going more and more extreme. And then, you know, I just listened to like, you know, I got into thrash in high school a lot, like the old B grade thrash, like Flotsam and Jetsam and Overkill, and was really digging into that. And then when black metal came around, like maybe when I was 15 years old, like Mayhem kind of, they were getting some notoriety. They were in Guitar World magazine, and you know, anything at the store where that had inverted crosses and all, you know, like you'd buy things based on the album cover. You look like Unleashed, look kind of cool. Like I'm like, you know, because you couldn't necessarily listen to it first. It wasn't the internet. But yeah. So in high school, I got into the black metal, like Mayhem and Emperor and Cradle of Filth and that shit. All my friends were all into punk. So I got into some of the anarchist punk, like Crass and Conflict and Subhumans. But I met these guys, and like the death metal shit too. Like I got real into death metal in middle school, and then I was like, this is a little too brutal, man. I'm gonna start like listening to thrash because I thought the songs were better.
Yeah,
the thrash songs were better than the early '90s death metal, like Deicide, Morbid Angel. But then like I got exposed to Suffocation in high school, and I was like, oh man, this shit's fucking the shit, man. And you know, I started getting more into death metal, and then black metal was kind of big in the late '90s, more so than death metal, I think so. And then, you know, I started digging into like that shit, like Emperor, fucking whatever, you know, and whatever band I could get my hands on.
I was
go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I was just gonna ask him about the punk stuff because we don't bring that up a lot on this. I love Crass and Rudimentary Peni and I saw Subhumans a couple times, and I love that band, dude, so much. And
that's the kind of punk I'm into. Like I appreciate a lot of it now, but like back when I was in high school, I was really picky about this stuff because I'm a metal guy.
Yeah, I was too.
But the punk, like my friends were all into like vegan anarchist, fucking super leftist political stuff, and like that's what I've always gravitated towards and whatnot. You know, just fortunately because of my friends that I was around and whatnot. And but yeah, I like those bands. But now I never like the American bands, like say like all the LA bands. There's this rich history in this area, like Black Flag and the Circle Jerks and TSO, all those bands. Like I don't really like that sound, but now I kind of like it. When I hear it, I'm like, shit's all right, but not the same goosebumps I get from listening to it or something.
Bill was all about Black Flag.
God, you guys make me feel like such a
hell yeah.
You guys make me feel like such a pussy. Like when I was in middle school, it was like dude, Offspring smashes the shit.
When I was in, that came out when I was in 6th or 7th grade. That was the shit. That was the best.
Right?
Oh yeah, the same for me.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, dude.
Really good album.
Yeah. For me, go ahead.
But like I also got butchered at birth when I was in like 6th or 7th grade, and it was like as extreme as it gets. Like, and that is as extreme as it gets. You know, like you don't get more brutal than fucking Cannibal Corpse.
I just remember like I remember that I've probably brought this up before, but the on that part on Smash where it's all you stupid dumb shit goddamn motherfucker. I remember like playing that with like your parents, be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Your mom starts pounding on the door.
What is this? Okay, so my aunt, who's like 65 years old, like she was at like a couple Christmases ago, she's talking about that song. She's like, oh yeah, you know that Offspring song when I'm driving, I get all pissed. She's like, that's the song I started singing. I'm all,
yeah. Such attitude. Yeah.
For me, it was the Americana album like 5 years later.
Oh,
And-
okay, yeah.
And it's
that's
not
cool.
nearly as extreme, but it's got that song. It's like, my friend's got a girlfriend and he hates that
That's
bitch.
the old
And
Latin song,
that was
right?
enough for them to be like, nope, we're taking the CD. You can't listen
yeah.
to it. I like,
Man.
yeah.
Little did I know.
That's
So
so
multiple
funny.
generations of Offspring fans just, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I had as a kid? Like my brother had Use Your Illusion 2, and that's got Get
Yeah.
the Ring with Guns N' Roses. That one's just like a freaking tirade of F-bombs and bitch, cunt, whatever. Like,
Expletive-laden tirade.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, what's that song?
Back
Yeah.
at one point.
Yeah, he goes off on that one.
What about you, Will? What are your big influences, dude?
I mean, you know, I started off like when I first started playing bass, it was a lot of Flea, a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know,
Sure.
Hell
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
you know, 'cause that was of course like the coolest bass shit that you can hear on the radio, you know.
Mhm.
But from there, I mean, I went on like started getting into thrash, of course, like Cliff Burton. Then I discovered Iron Maiden, and like the first Maiden song I heard was Aces High, and I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't even know you could do that on bass. Like that's like that was
Yeah,
that was just like a
Fuck yeah.
crazy impossibility, you know, playing at that speed.
Steve Harris,
And-
man.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, Steve Harris
Badass.
just blew me away, man. And so, yeah, as I you know, and Steve Harris was pretty much it for, you know, Steve Harris has gotten me through like 15 years of playing bass. It was just like it was just like I just emulate Steve Harris, and it got me through pretty much any situation. But then, you know, I started getting more. You know, I found Death, and I found like the Steve DiGiorgio Death albums.
Fuck yeah.
It was just like that was just like, you know, just another
Yeah.
level above. You know, going from there, and then a big thing, you know, finding like, you know, like Alex Webster from Cannibal Corpse.
Fuck yeah.
He influenced my right hand technique a lot. You know, it was just like, you know, just chasing that Alex Webster's tone is something that I still shoot for. Like,
Fuck yeah.
and yeah, and then you know, like Roger Patterson from Atheist.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
God, he's so good.
Virtuoso kind of bass playing, like, and using, and you know, not being afraid, like, you know, letting me branch out from like the Steve Harris minor pentatonic fills kind of thing. It was just like Roger Patterson just like expanded that to a whole new level. Just
I recently
using-
watched some live footage of him playing with them, dude, and it's
Yeah,
just
man.
next level, dude.
I live down the street from the old Reseda Country Club, and there's just like, you know, shows from the old Reseda Country Club, like where Atheists would play, and it just like,
Yeah. And
yeah,
there's
just
some cool
going-
rehearsal footage of them with him jamming. They had a
Yeah.
pretty big space. And yeah, he fucking rips, dude. And when you see him play, he was all the energy too. He was the
Totally.
one who was all over the stage the whole fucking time.
yeah, yeah, playing at that level of intensity, just like that level of intensity would come out just on the stage and in the music.
Isn't there a
And
video of
then-
him like kind of falling off the stage? Like it's an big open air festival, and like where he's getting so down.
yeah.
he's,
No,
like,
that's
stepping- no, I swear it's Atheist, and he like falls.
yeah,
off the
but
stage.
it's homeboy from he
Oh,
played
dude.
on Elements album, the Elements album.
Oh, okay,
What's
got
his
it, got
name?
it.
Tony.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Tony. Fuck, I can't think of names right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
McAlpine, whatever.
Tony Choi, is that his name? No?
Tony Choi.
Yeah,
Choi.
there
That's
you
it.
go.
Tony Choi. Yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Sick,
And then
another sick bass player.
Yeah. He was. I got to see him play at like at one of the LA Murder Fests with Obituary, or you know, when Atheist was playing with Obituary, and that was just
An
like,
Obituary set, man. Fucking one of the best metal sets ever.
They're great live, dude. They're great.
Dude, did you see Obituary Will at that show?
yeah, I saw Obituary at that show.
Dude, they were so good. Yeah, I just like I loved that band as a kid, and like never, you know, kind of forgot about it because they were one of the first death metal bands I heard. And seeing it with that Murder Fest, I was like, holy shit! Oh, this band is for real. I'm like, oh my god, they sound like, you know, they sound pro. They sound better than everybody. They got that
You know,
fucking double bass shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Fuck yeah.
You know, it's funny, like two bands that like I don't like listen to ever are like Obituary and like Jungle Rot. But like Dreaming Dead played a show with Jungle Rot at like this wrestling arena in Philadelphia years ago, and like everybody sucked. The sound was terrible. Everybody sucked, and Jungle Rot destroyed. They were so good.
Same thing. Terrorizer played with Obituary in Czech Republic, and I mean, I grooved to some old school Obituary. I didn't like the vocals back when I was a kid. It was like blah, blah, like too much for me somehow.
Yeah.
You're
But
like,
man,
fuck this guy, man. I don't listen to Glenn Benton.
the best, man. I'm
yeah, I didn't dig the pukey, dude. I didn't dig the pukey. I don't know what to tell you. Different things hit you different, you know. But yeah, damn, the band slams. Something about it being like a little bit lower tempo than like some of the other extreme bands. Like I still like the fast shit, but like sometimes live and when there's other difficult things going on with sound in the show, if it's a little more mid tempo, some of those bands are slamming.
No, totally. I mean, some of those bands like the crazy technical bands, they, you know, and depending on the sound of the venue, is really going to really judge how the fucking band's going to do. If it's going to be a white noise fucking extravaganza, or if it's, and then you're waiting for the like heavy part, like the junting parts, because like that's all you can really understand. You know, really depends on the sound guy is huge for like that kind of like a lot of these super high tempo, fast note, a lot of notes. Well, it's really dependent on the sound guy and in the room.
I think the Suffolk guys would call them slow obituary.
Slow obituary,
but like with the love, because they love that. They're all about
no,
slow
it's cool. It's
down
cool.
and just crush it. Yeah.
Or they just like take long time to set up or something. Obituary, hurry up, drummer.
I got many
long
bands
time to break down.
Yeah. God.
Eric Clapton thing, right? Slow hand, because he's
slow hand
changing guitar strings.
Yeah.
I thought it was because of his vibrato technique, and like I learned, it's because he fucking takes 20 minutes to change a string.
One thing I'll always love about Eric Clapton is when he plays like a power chord or something, he's always doing this. He's like,
oh yeah.
I'm just like, there it is.
Like the opposite. Is the opposite of Eric Rutan, who like changes the string in like 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, Rutan's like a fucking.
Shout out to Rutan for joining Cannibal.
I know, holy shit.
That new Cannibal sounds sick. I love hearing Cannibal with Rutan solos.
Oh, he joined. I didn't even know he joined.
Good lord, yeah, that new song's sick. It's like released a couple days ago.
Yeah,
I'll scope it. Also, for me, Cannibal Corpse has been kind of like plateau, like not doing anything that really like interested me for a long time.
That's what I like about Cannibal, though. They're just kind of like, I mean, on the guitar side of things, on the guitar side of things, they might be doing something a little different on guitar. You know, obviously the drum section is going to be pretty much Cannibal.
3 beats always.
Exactly. And I mean, and it's, you know, been brought up where the guitar players probably don't even know they're doing, you know, they're playing in 3-4 times and they're doing like a polyrhythm. They don't even know it probably. And it just somehow meets up and it's fucking awesome. Like, yeah, I mean, for me, Cannibal, it plateaued at Gore Obsessed, but yeah, I mean, I still just go see them and I'm like, they're just Cannibal and they're just all their sound quality is great. Their drums, their guitar, their bass, their vocals all sound amazing. Like as far as like the fucking sound that I would want, I'm just like, you guys are just crushing, you know. They're like in the pocket, they just don't leave the pocket, they just stay in the pocket. They're just there in the Cannibal pocket. They just do their thing, and that's what gets the crowd going. It's just tried and true formula.
When I listen to Cannibal, I like enter Cannibal Land, and it's like and I just was like and it's just like I just accept it exactly and I just fucking love it. Like it's like a certain, and like the timbre of it, like Corpse Grinder's vocals. Alex Webster's bass, and just the guitar riffs and just the way that they do it. Like I don't even care how fast or what. It's like, it's just like, I'm like, dude, I don't know. I get it, you know.
I'll speak for Chris and Swansong a little bit. Like I think The Bleeding's our favorite Cannibal Corpse album. Yeah, because that was the one where we feel like they hit it with the riffs and like the songs. Like, not that we're always looking for that in death metal. Like, I want a catchy song, but like, man, they killed it on Bleeding for me, for sure, and I think probably those other two guys too.
That's the one creative too. Like the bass playing really sticks out. There's all that tapping and weird shit. And like, yeah, it's the most poppy of their albums, but it's their masterpiece. You know.
Yeah, like all the harmonies and the crazy time changes and just
not the heaviest,
breaks.
Not the heaviest, but
not the heaviest. Yeah, but all the hits are on that album. You know, except for Hammer Smash Face, but like.
There's a couple other ones. You're just not hip to Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah. I would check out the new song. It impressed me, and I haven't really felt anything coming from them for years. But this one, I'm like, fuck yeah, this new one rips. So
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it might be the Rutan thing. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was sick.
Check it out.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on with because actually when I found out Rutan got announced, because you know we've toured with Rutan. He's fucking awesome, super nice, loving
dude. He is. He's a fucking cool dude.
He was. I mean, it was we did a tour with Black Dahlia, and it would just turn into a thing where I would show up to the venue, and Rutan just walk, and I'm already like just a nerd metalhead. I'm young still, and Rutan just walks up and he's, "What's up, man? Let's go smoke a joint upstairs, man. Let's go." I was like, Rutan. I was like, I have to go. Like, I'm gonna go do this, obviously, but I also have to like pretend like it's all good. Like, yeah, I do this all the time, dude. Even though I'm like, it's my first.
I do.
Tour,
Use my impression of Eric Rutan. Here we go. So you're chilling. You're chilling in backstage, and here's Rutan, and he's just like practicing with not plugged in with his guitar, and he's just shredding these solos, and he's like, "Ah, man, fucking, man, I tell you, dude, it's cold outside, fucking, man, yeah, it's fucking sick, dude, fucking, yeah, man." They're just like, dude.
While he's shredding the whole time.
Yeah, he's just shredding and like talking. It's like, "What's up? Man."
But one of the cool things about Rutan though is that I probably talked about it already on the podcast, is that his when the show is like big enough and legit enough, he was like dying of some sort of flu backstage, and he was like, "Joel, like, let's come wake me up." He's sitting there like covered in a bunch of sweaters and stuff, and like just sitting there sweating a bunch, and he's got like a temperature that he needs to go to the hospital for. Like, he needs to go to the hospital. And he's like, "No, just wake me up, man. I'll get up there and do it." And I was like, "All right, dude." He was like, looked the worst I've ever seen a human before going on stage looked. And I would just wake him up, and he'd just be like, I'm just go like in pain, all the body aches and stuff, and just get up there and just fucking set up and fucking play like it was normal. And then he would turn around at his amp and just be like, like it'd just be like this crumbling, like his body is falling apart. And
dude,
he's like, yeah.
On the exhausted prayer tip, I gotta put it out there for my man Chris, because he's got a little bit of a sensitive stomach. Yeah. And sometimes he would start off tour, and the first show he'd drink a little too much, and then he'd want to be a dumbass and go for a run the next morning because he likes to run. And then he'd have some food, and then his stomach would be fucked up for 2 weeks. And then, but like, he would be throwing up every hour for like 2 weeks or some shit, but he would get on stage to like play.
And then throw up right afterwards, like run off stage and puke. But you can, with adrenaline, you can like go, fucking go for it, and then you puke afterwards.
That's what the Rutan thing would be like. You can't miss this. You can't miss these shows, man. You can't miss them. Like, he's like, it was just like, that's basically like how he thought, was just like, I might die, but you can't, like, for my band, I can't miss the show. I can't do it. And I was like, Christ, man, you're like,
we appreciated it.
Deathbed. Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, just
it'd be pretty hard to do an Hate Eternal show without Eric Rutan. You're like, well, he's sick tonight.
No, he was
Johnny Boy's gonna sing.
He was the same old Rutan. Just got there.
Yeah, you got
to trip me out the most is that, like, he played, like, I watched on the front end, and he just gave the same show, but then he turned around to get the water or whatever. I was just like sitting there going, like,
man,
like just sitting there in pain for a while, just like getting him, like, psyching himself into it. And I was like,
we probably already talked about it, but same thing with Sean Malone, RIP, when we saw Cynic in Oakland. He literally had to sit down in between each song. And then as soon as he could, he left the stage. Everybody was sitting around waiting for an encore, and
you go run upstairs to go shit or puke or whatever he had to do.
Yeah, but no, he just, I don't know what he was doing, but then they were finally like, "Guys, I'm sorry, but we really can't. We can't do an encore right now." Like, Sean's
well, they still did like over an hour, I think, still, even with that. And I was
they still got the job done, but they're like, no extra sprinkles for you guys.
This is fucking Lemmy, his last show that he played. Like,
I saw that, like, where he had to walk off,
just
right?
A few songs, and he was like, "Fuck this shit!" Like,
oh yeah, man.
He just died a few days later, right?
I mean, he's like what, 70s, and then fucking partied out and shit. But that's a sad story.
Lemmy fucking. I mean, I watched that documentary on him, and he just like straight. I mean, he did it like, I don't want to say medicinally, but that guy just did meth. Like, it was just like a
sure. Oh yeah, for sure.
That's just like what he did. He just like, he's all, and he even told his son, on the documentary, he found out his son was doing cocaine. He's like, "Why are you doing cocaine, son? Like, don't do that." He's all, "Do meth, it's cheaper."
Oh no. We do not condone that on this podcast.
Well, obviously we don't. Jesus, it's like a fucking legendary human that it's like one of the only people that can handle doing something like that, and
it's brutal.
He's the type of dude when he stopped doing meth is when he passed, dude. Like giving up in the middle of that show was probably him literally saying, like, "I'm done." Like, those people just go until they die, and maybe that was his body literally in that show. Like, "I'm gonna die."
Lemmy on meth, he was just like a normal guy. You know, it was like
Yeah.
it wasn't like a guy that you see on the street like picking his face. It was just like, oh,
yeah, obviously with like a lifestyle like that, it's just getting to baseline, dude. That's all it is. It's getting to baseline.
Yeah.
Drugs
Chris,
are bad and good.
it's hard to write. He played every Yes gig and until he died. You know?
yeah,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like fucking for like 50 years or something.
yeah. And that documentary too, he got like this rent controlled apartment that like he got like in the fucking 80s or something, and it was right across from Rainbow, and like he literally like he kept it until he died. He got it like in fucking 30 years ago, and it was like fucking $300 a month, and he just got controlled into it and was like, I'm staying here forever. It was just completely with artifacts and multiple rooms of, you know, it's like mostly it was like a horror, like a horror of all the shit he had. And yeah, he just stayed there until it's like, this is where I'm staying. This is it. Like it's like literally next to like people like that are working at the supermarket were his roommates, you know. That was basically Lemmy. He just, you know, I you know, I'm not a big Motorhead guy and musically, but after watching that documentary, I was like, fuck, Lemmy's a fucking badass, dude. I don't know. He's like one of those off alien humans that just like live this lifestyle that's not sustainable for any other person except him.
Or like maybe Keith Richards or like
Keith Richards too. Yeah.
Well, Keith Richards is sober now though, right? At least.
No.
So is he
not?
No way.
Oh, he's not? Okay.
No.
I don't know. I don't know, but I didn't think so.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's like the same type of dude. Maybe if he stops, he's gonna die, dude.
I think he stopped drinking, but I think he's been like, I smoke a lot of weed now or something.
That's all good.
Yeah. That's all good. Yeah, exactly.
That'll save you from anything.
He's Cali sober. That's the term, right?
Cali sober.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson style.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson. That's what I just think.
5-MeO DMT. That's it, dude.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't really dig it. I just kind of saw his picture, and I'm just making assumptions.
Oh.
Yeah. Tyson Farms. I'm like, what is that? You know, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Mike Tyson totally. Dude.
But I had heard he's got like he's done a bunch of therapy and shit. Like I could see the ayahuasca thing being like a part of his life experience at this point.
Totally was. Yeah, I've heard him talk about it on podcasts and stuff, how it changed his life, and because you see that he was such an aggressive young man, and he went to like very compassionate, nice smell. I mean, you could still piss him off. Obviously, it's still in there somewhere, but he definitely has the his overall lifestyle is like sweet, and nice, being like nice to people. You know what I mean?
Imagine being Mike Tyson, like, and then you take psychedelics, and you're like, whoa. Like,
he's all,
man,
your children.
yeah.
God,
like my life. Whoa,
scary back in the day.
Was crazy. You know, it's like I don't want to do that. But then he's fought though, right? But that was a tie, right? That last one.
He just did. Yeah, he just did.
Whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't a tie, but it was a tie. For, you know, I just watched it and I was like, he just beat the shit out of Roy Jones and was like, oh, it's a tie. Hey, I love you.
I didn't watch that. I don't know. So anyways, back to the music and Exhausted Prayer. So we got the new stuff. Joseph, did you want to talk about? I'll let you take the lead.
Oh yeah. Well, now might be a cool time to listen to a song if you guys are all into it.
Yeah.
Sure.
You want to just do the first song on the new album?
Yeah.
Cool. I had to pull my batteries from my keyboard and put them into my mouse just so that I could click over. And don't ask me to search shit because I don't have a keyboard. So luckily I already had this tab open ready to do this. So yeah, you know, TMI, but here we go. The song is Embrace the Most Potent Autonomy.
So this is unreleased, right?
Yeah, yes. This is a what would you call this? The worldwide premiere or something?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
And when does it
for 5
when does it come out?
Hey, you want to say something about that? If you guys have plans for it,
to be announced.
TBA.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're working on it right now. You know, we're good at writing music and recording it and all that. We're not that great about, you know, promoting it and all that stuff. But we're in the process of putting together the artwork for it and kind of getting it out there in some people's hands, friends, colleagues, and stuff like that. Maybe anybody that might want to point us in the right direction for someone who could help us with some exposure or like printing vinyl. We'd love to have some vinyl. It costs a lot to,
press it for just 4 dudes. So that kind of thing. We might be looking for a little help or whatever, but we're just getting it out there, getting the feelers out there. If nothing fancy happens for us, we'll release it on our own like we've done with our other stuff. And probably in the next few months.
Well, I know a dude in LA, my friend Richard, he works at Erica Records and like lays vinyl all day and does it for himself as well, but down to get you guys hooked up with him. You can definitely hook you up.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we can use all the help we can get.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys.
And just whoever you get, make sure they don't copyright strike us for playing this song right now. That's all we ask.
I know, right? Yeah.
You said you have some mix changes
after you, bro.
We might have we might have like extremely subtle mix changes, like extremely subtle. Fix a couple tiny baby little things. Other than that,
that means it's different. That means it's different.
That's different. Yeah, we're good to go.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
This will never be heard again. So yeah, we're good to go.
Here we go. Let's do it.
Exactly. All right, here we go, guys.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah,
super
dude.
sick, dude.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's our first
I love-
official track premiere on our
I love
podcast.
that Mike, you're on mute if I can see you talking. But no, I like the seems like an updated kind of style of thrash on the thrash parts. Like it seems like it's a Slayer, like, you know, but more modern, but like still old school, but still like has the new school still. You know what I mean? I don't know.
We've always, so we've jokingly called ourselves blashed metal, like black thrash death metal.
Totally.
So I mean that's definitely like a more thrashy one or whatever. That's a Chris tune. Most of like all the riffs are Chris, and we kind of arranged it together. Yeah, that's definitely just one of more of our like kind of thrashy tunes. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to us playing like the type of stuff on the guitar, you know, like the kind of palm muted stuff at the gates, big time for us.
Totally.
You know,
Fuck yeah, hell yeah. What's your favorite At the Gates album?
You know, for me, I mean, like a lot of people are gonna say like, oh, the kind of like
Slaughter
more
the Soul.
poppy one or whatever, Slaughter the Soul. Like it's all about
Yeah,
the previous. I like Slaughter the Soul.
Yeah. No, me too. I mean, they have
Yeah.
fuck, what's
I
the
mean,
album?
Terminal Spirit Disease. Don't forget that one. That's-
Terminal Spirit Disease.
That was
the vibe
amazing.
of that one is better, I think. But
Well, the Swarm, the song "The Swarm" by them is like one of my favorite songs.
We
Actually,
covered it on one
Covered
of our
that
albums.
a long time ago. Yeah.
Oh shit!
The second
Nice.
album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that song
yeah.
sounded
Without permission.
fucking good to me, man. Like it was pretty
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
dude. I could hear everything. Like the bass, I could hear. Dude, it sounded sick going
Yeah.
down. Like
You know-
this drums, the snare sounded cool. I really like the drum tone, dude. That
It sounded good on my phone right now.
yeah. I mean, honestly, dude, like the vocals like stood out to me too. I mean, I've heard this before. Like we got a sneak peek, you know, but just hearing it right now and like I was like, man, that stood out to me just now. I was like, the vocals are so sick. Like
I think it's all. I'm doing the lead vocal on this tune. I think the
Oh,
high
sick.
and the high and the low. But then the guys are backing me up or whatever. But
yeah.
Yeah, we've always been about the layered vocals, and people usually call that out really quickly. They're like, "Wow, the drummer sings and the guitarists
Yeah.
sing," and we're like,
yeah.
just always like kind of coming at you from different directions, which layers pretty
awesome.
well.
Yeah.
we always kind of had this ethic from early on that like kind of anybody can go like or nah, and like, you know, there's no reason to have like a singer so much or anybody else, like, and we could all just kind of do it, you know.
Yeah.
I think we liked like the impaled exhumed kind of approach early on too, of like, or even Cradle of Filth, of like the growl and the high, the death metal vocal and the black metal vocal, you know.
It was kind of like what Jacoby was saying from Deeds, that they kind of figured it out. They just sang together. They just worked it out, you know.
Yeah,
And they all learned how to do it basically with each other.
Well, the Beatles all sang, you know, the Eagles,
Yeah.
like
Exactly, dude.
They
Yeah.
sounded because multiple people were singing.
Yeah.
Not like we're the fucking Eagles or something, you know. I mean,
Are you
pretty
the
close, but-
Eagles of black metal.
Eagles of death metal?
I mean, you know,
The Beatles of black
Ayo.
metal.
Eagles of thrash metal.
Why?
Yeah.
Rad,
man.
man.
Color
I might have-
the black
yeah.
metal. Dude.
that was
The Eagles of death metal and the Beatles of black metal.
Yeah, dude.
that was the first
Beatles
song.
are
That was the
better.
first song. That was the first song we wrote for the new record.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
sick. Yeah.
Probably, you know, like 4 years ago or something, or 3 years ago maybe.
You guys got a
Maybe
killer.
longer,
You guys got a killer drum mix out of that. You recorded in
Yeah.
that practice room that I used to jam with you guys at, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys got a good sound out of that room.
Yeah, we've been practicing recording for the same amount, 20 years. So I mean, this one actually, I'll hand it off to Mike, that he really kept the fire burning, and like I'd done a lot of work on prior albums with mixing, and but he took on probably the lion's share of it. But we did meet up often and go over mixes and everything. But yeah, I guess I'm the most nitpicky about things, so they kind of clown me about that. But overall, though, the direction was on him, and Heist got an old laptop that had all these plugins on it, basically everything you'd ever want. And so yeah, we had probably the best equipment we've ever had, best mics. I invested in some nice ribbon mics and other mics, and so like
Cool.
yeah, we just decided that yeah, we could pay someone to do this, but we're still just good at doing it ourselves and
Bunch of SM57s,
crafting it.
dude.
Yeah. So for all the nerds out there, what kind of mics, ribbon mics did you get? I'm curious.
At AEA N22, we had a Heil. I forgot which mic that was. A
The dynamic mic. It's like a,
Yeah.
Mhm.
We had a few condensers, SM57s.
Sure.
we just use a S57 on the snare, right? Or do we use the Heil?
SM57, dude.
It's hard to beat a 57 on the snare, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even on
it's
the tom.
so- Oh yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
And
They're amazing. Yeah.
the kick and the snare have samples from like Easy Drummer,
Sure.
you know, which is like great, you know, drum plugins, and that's something that like Exhausted Pair has never done. But for me, kind of, you know, engineering, mixing this, whatever, it was a good option to have it like cut through, and you know,
Is it like a blend?
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
blend
yeah.
it.
Yeah, the blend's the way. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I mean, that's what they did on like Slaughter of the
Yeah.
Soul, for instance, you know,
For
and their
sure.
thought was
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it sound industrial sounding. And nowadays you have very little blending going on. To me, it
Yeah.
sounds like mostly just like the triggered thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've always hoped that our stuff sounds like four dudes playing music, which extreme metal doesn't always. It sounds like a computer sometimes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Typewriter. Yeah.
Hopefully it sounds like dudes, but I did find in getting my drum sound that
No, it sounds good, dude. I can hear
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's still like a drum set and stuff.
Yeah. Hopefully it still sounds
Yeah.
like that. So there's a little, you know, recording magic, but I feel like anytime you
Yeah.
plug a mic in and record it, there's magical things going on that people who are listening to it don't know about, and
Yeah,
cheating
yeah.
this and that, whatever. I don't get too concerned about it. If you listen to
Yeah.
the album, there's edits and stuff, but the album is mostly us playing and, you know, pretty proper.
Fuck yeah, dude. It's awesome. I think it's a great blend.
McCarthy.
Say it again.
Sorry.
I
go
want to
ahead.
call me first take McCarthy over here, you know. No, I don't do that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
He's
I
like,
did, like-
actually, they don't.
I did 30 takes of a improv solo today and didn't keep anything. Yeah.
That's nothing.
Ooh.
Those
Yeah,
leads on the
you know,
song,
we,
those are like 230 a take, man.
Here's the thing, you know, we've done the pre-production, and I kind of learned from my band House of Rabbits, for whom, you know, Jess, the band leader, was getting pretty like nitpicky about pre-production and stuff, and I was like, you know what, there's no better way to go than like doing pre-production for an album when you're ready to get into the nitty-gritty. You're all practiced up, you know, like where you had issues, and since we're going to do it ourselves, we know we were going to have issues like for the different parts of the songs, and knew like, oh, this is lacking in the pre-production, so kind of knew where to go. That being said, this was the first like for real record we did with all these plugins on Chris's computer. It's kind of Chris's studio, for which he keeps me around as a engineer or some shit, I guess. I don't know how you want to put it. It ended up being good. I think that our approach was good. Again, that pre-production was pretty key. And then, you know, we would have been faster about it. We started right when the COVID lockdown kicked in. Like that week.
Literally, like, yeah, February.
That week I went in and started doing the drums. So like the whole thing was kind of like, we knew we could take our time. And there was experimentation going on. I think next time we do this or whatever, we could probably know more the direction we want to go in. We took a lot of time to experiment and make it sound how we wanted it to sound. And I hope that people, when they listen to it, it sounds a little bit different than a lot of metal. Like there's more mids. We like mid-range frequency, and as much as we like the scooped sound of stuff, we like our guitars to have like mids and shit.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
That's
where
kind of
they
more of
stick
like
out.
that's kind of more of our rock and roll influence, maybe a little bit, than like our purely like death metal type influence.
Yeah,
even at the Gates influence, that's like the mids kind of stuck out with that 5150
sure.
sound that they had, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Opeth turning down their distortion, or turning down the gain in Opeth, like that definitely influenced me too, because you can hear a lot of the complex notes and chords and everything too, because you want to be able to hear it instead of it just being like.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
I was in the opposite direction where I'm like turning the gain back up. Like I was turning it down. Now I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm fucking playing death metal, bro. Like if anyone's gonna turn it up,
I know.
like we're the band that's gonna do that. Like,
Presence at 10. Yeah, he's the Sam off to my Isan tone.
I mean, I don't go to 10. I keep my shit at like 1 o'clock. It's like everything. My whole EQ is at 7.
Yeah.
Everything is at 7.
Well, nowadays with all those clean boosts and stuff, you can keep your gain at like 4, but then like you have a clean boost coming in like through like one of those like boost pedals, and slap that thing on. All of a sudden it's like your gain's really at 7, but it's at 4 in your amp.
Yeah, you can do that with it.
Driving a different stage. Yeah,
the tube screamer is a good way to do that too.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, even with those nowadays, like I'm you know, I fuck around with tone a bunch, but like getting like you put your gain as low as you can in your amp, and then you just do like a clean boost into it. Just push that gain stage of your amp. Just make your amp
gain. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, just make your amp do the work. Like fucking you do the work, son.
That's
like
cool.
I don't want to, you know, like
or you can daisy chain metal zones and.
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah, totally.
Just keep them all
the
on 10.
Gates tone. It's it's like a Marshall with a metal zone and a heavy metal pedal.
That's
Yeah.
well, you said when you first came on here, you said
That's the
Cryptopsy.
solid control tone.
Cryptopsy was a Mesa Boogie clean with a metal zone.
Yeah, obviously.
Whisper Supremacy. Yeah, Whisper Supremacy. Yeah.
Oh, the metal zone or Whisper Supremacy?
I think it might have been either Whisper, might have been, and then you'll beg or Whisper. But I remember hearing like that was how they did it. It was like a clean. Yeah.
Do you guys watch Ola Unglin's channel? You know, he plays for the Haunted, right? Olin or Ola.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's like, you know, super popular, but he does those cool videos where he like mimics those tones and he uses those heavy metal pedals and that kind of, he like explains it all. You know?
Oh yeah, exactly.
To do that, but
a lot of guys do that, like metal zone in the effects loop. If you put the metal zone in the effects loop,
I've heard that too.
It sounds really good.
Yeah, that's like how
it's my TV, and I was like, damn, dude, does this distortion sound better than the amp's distortion?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, man. I use the amp distortion, but the metal zone might actually sound better.
Yeah, exactly. And there's all these like digital fucking things now. Like I jumped on the fractal bandwagon, and that's just another wormhole of tones, and like you can have like 9 amps or 3 amps at the same time with like all different cabs and different mic fucking placements, and it just like it gets like so deep into like if you want to get into tone, I mean they got, you know, if you want to a wormhole of it.
I have the bias amp in my computer, which
me too.
Like, man, I wish you could just go, okay, there's a good tone, but you have to like tweak things. What I found is you got to put 2 mics on the cabinet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
In order to make it sound good, that's the main thing. You got to fucking find the right mic placement, because, like it sounds really good recorded, but like just listening back through my monitors, I'm like, this shit's kind of not as good as my Line 6 shit, you know? Like,
exactly. I will say Line 6 to the
Line 6 tone port sounds better to me than this fucking. It's in the listen back, but the bias amp is cool because you got the like all the crazy, like you can change the mood and all that shit. Like I'm not doing that
you
shit.
could literally have like 2 amps with 2 different cabinets with 4 mics and fucking like, you know, like an EQ on each side, EQs on each side, like a 12 band whatever or 10 band each EQ on each side, and like it just gets so deep into like you know the shit you can fucking do. But I mean, but the thing is though, you'll find that when you start getting in like going down that realm, you find a tone you love, and then you wake up one morning and you hate it, and then you're like, I want to, you know, and because you have all the fucking amps at your fucking fingertips, you're like, maybe we'll try out. We'll try a Engel with a diesel with a fucking Mesa cab and a
isn't it kind of like
cab? You know,
isn't it like comparing like acoustic drums to like triggers, and they're neither of them are like, well, acoustic drums can be, but they have to be manipulated to sound in metal the way that we might want. Like it's like kind of like that, like digital amp and then like real amp. Like what if we combine the two? Do people do that at all? Like line and tone mixed with
kind of, because I know that some people,
because you're using rack gear too. Like I don't know,
because people reamp, right?
Because then you have best of both worlds. You got like the real sound and you got the tight like line in. Do people do that, or like
people will take their line signal, like they'll mic up their cab or whatever, right, with their like guitar tone, but they'll also take their like line clean signal or whatever, and then maybe like do some reamp it later, or use like a tone from, you know, bias amp or whatever. I don't know. I play the drums. I engineer the album, but I really just kind of play the fucking drums.
Cool if it's like a blended tone, like half synthetic, half real.
It's such a
cyborg
fucking addiction of like.
Well, check this out. On the song we just listened to, there's a lot of chord going on, right? And like, but there's also this kind of like, there's like this kind of melody line going on in the chords or whatever. And I wasn't hearing it coming through enough, right? So then I'm thinking about the Steely Dan documentary like I watched, and they had this guitar line that wasn't coming through, so they played like a fucking some goofy little keyboard thing over it, like doo 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 doo, and you'd never know it, but it makes the guitar pop. So I was like, dude,
interesting.
Play that note, that melody note from the chord progression. Play like the octave for like the first 3 sections of the song to like get that note popping through. So like, you know, like we're not gonna. Is that a cheat, or is that just like good like recording shit, you know? Or maybe the songwriting wasn't that good and we should have written it better so that the composition was better and it came through better. But whatever, we went in there and played a fucking octave, and I kind of like that, you know? I imagine
it's awesome.
I want to be like
horrible guitar tone too, but it sounds good.
I want to be like
it's composition, man. It's just
yeah, and I think it's like composing in the studio too, to like maximize how you want your song to sound, like like what can we like reach to make it sound good? And if I'm trying to follow the Steely Dan guys, then I feel like I'm good.
Yeah. Well, you said Chris said earlier that U2 was a big influence, and I watched a U2 gear, whatever the gear breakdown of U2 live.
Yeah,
and it's like
I saw it too. I think.
Yeah, it's like they literally have. He has a row of amplifiers in the back, like that are each mic'd, and they're like from like 1976, 1962, 19, and like he has each amp like ready to go, and he hits a pedal, and it activates a fucking mic to get the exact amp of what the fuck he's trying to get. That's like when you got that kind of like fuck you money, it's just like, dude, I want the sound, dude. Like I don't want a fucking emulation, you know.
Dude, I like the thing about the Edge, he doesn't swap out his pickups or anything. When he buys a guitar, he just keeps it stock. He like he buys it at the store, and he's like, I like this shit. He doesn't do any modifications or anything. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. That is totally cool.
You know, a guitar, like when Fender builds a guitar, like I think they probably know better than me what belongs inside that guitar.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm just gonna grab this fucking $2,000 guitar and be like, I'll be slapping these pickups. Yeah, these are the ones I don't fucking know, man. Like, you know, like I just think they have more experience with that shit. Like I've hot rodded all my guitars and shit, but like the original shit that was in them was pretty fucking good. You know?
Yeah. And it's totally moldable through your amp and through whatever EQ, whatever you have. Like it's totally, you can use it. You can definitely use it. Like it's not, I know like it's getting like the fancy pickups is like the new cool thing nowadays, but it's like you could make with all the shit out there nowadays, you can make it sound however the fuck you want it to make it sound. You don't need all the fucking fancy fucking dressing on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the player, not the gear, you know, right? Like,
exactly.
But yeah, my buddy, like,
I
got a friend who plays the basic Ibanez guitar, fucking, you know, who's got that RG2 set or whatever, RG570, like stock pickups. Sounds fucking amazing. I'm swapping out all this shit, putting these different pickups, and he's just got the stock Ibanez pickups. Sounds fucking amazing. Great guitar player, you know.
Totally.
Came across this Miles Davis quote. I like. I don't even know if it's like really a Miles Davis quote, but I like it and I want it to be. But it's like, it's 20% the note, 80% the motherfucker that's playing it.
Yeah. I mean, Dimebag is one of those sounds that I would never want for myself, but for him, it was like it sounded great. But like to me, it was like if I try to emulate and jam on it, I'm like, that sounds like shit. But like live, he fucking owned it, and that was his tone, and like he just made it his tone. And
they sound amazing. I saw it live. They sound fucking phenomenal.
Exactly.
My first big concert.
Do you remember this guitar, Chris, that you sold me back in the day?
Oh, yeah, dude, this is my first guitar, first electric guitar.
Chris's first guitar,
1993.
Damn.
Looks like it's got a mod done to it.
Yeah, I swapped out that pickup, man. There's a fucking DiMarzio tone zone in there.
Tone zone.
And then I've got like, there's some fucking DiMarzio like the single coils in there that are good pickups.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Sounds great to me. Yeah, I love that thing, dude.
Yeah. The single coils are really good too. They're like classic. I don't know what they are. They're some sort of DiMarzio single coils. They're fucking badass.
Hell yeah.
Just going back to that era when we were jamming, I remember that was also when I was learning Disgorge material to jam with Diego for Divinely Vomit. Yeah. And Chris was like, yeah, I fucking love Disgorge. They're like my favorite old school death metal band, or, you know, at the time, like, it just really was like one of those things that kept me going. And like,
I just linked it right now. Sorry, Chris, you had a vomit issue, and one of your favorite death metal bands is Disgorge, dude.
Yeah.
Makes sense now, dude.
Yeah, you were helping me, you know, psyching me up to learn that. Dude, that is a huge cat. Holy shit.
Big sandwiches. All big buddy.
Loving that fancy feast, dude.
Yeah.
He doesn't eat that much. He doesn't even eat that much.
Belly's all fur, yeah.
He's freaking out. It smells like a skunk. I don't know what happened. Like, all the doors and windows are closed here, but either his poop really smells from across the house, or there's a skunk right outside my window. But I think that's what he's trying to tell me. He's like, something's wrong over here. Or somebody smoking some reefer right outside my window.
Yeah.
Blowing on your cat.
Sounds like ant.
Catnip.
I tried to get my dog to make a cameo, and he was just like, no, dude. Like,
like
not down. He's like, go away.
Oh, he just barks like randomly, like, bah, bah.
Yeah, no,
like
totally,
I see Casey like trying to mute his microphone.
I'm like, where's the mute button? Yeah, he attacks my door all the time, Dan. Yeah.
Well, fuck yeah. So I mean, obviously COVID's going on, but what's your guys' plan once everything, like opens up and you guys can play shows again? Are you guys just sticking to trying to jump on bills? Do you guys want to do a West Coast run or something like that, or what are you guys trying to do?
I would hope that we would do kind of our same thing and hop on shows locally. We've got buddies from up and down the coast that might like tour down here, and like we'll hop on the show like with them, like we'll do that kind of stuff. We'll hop on local shows when we get a chance. And it's been a while, so I would love to get up and down the West Coast at some point, do our 1.5 to 2 week run, keep that going. And if any better things come our way or whatever, that's great. We'll keep doing this shit, kind of fucking regardless of whatever else is going on. But I can't wait until COVID's over and that part of my life of going to shows and being around like heavy metal people and stuff and doing my art scene shit. I really look forward to that.
How weird is that first show gonna be though? That first,
it's gonna be a trip.
Like, it's gonna be a trip. It's gonna be like, because I go to like, I probably go to 4 shows a month. That's probably like my average. And like I haven't gone to a show in since what, February? Like it's February now. It's February now. Yeah, it's insane.
It's gonna be the best show you've ever been to.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. I was like, dude, I'm gonna be like the opening band that totally, like, in my humble opinion, like blows, and I can't even get down to it. I'm gonna be getting down to it.
I think we're all gonna cry, to be honest.
Yeah.
The first show, either you go to or play to, you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, I miss it so
I know
much."
that first chord, that first actual live chord that gets hit with the drums. You're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, I'm gonna mosh like I've never moshed before.
Yeah.
13 years old again. You're like, "Oh man, yeah, fucking distorted guitars, drums, yeah."
Yeah, and
I know,
you're
exactly.
walking there. You're gonna be like, dude, so loud, dude. Why is it so loud, dude?
I know, right? Yeah, my ears are.
My ears haven't rung like really badly. like they were usually like 3 times a week throughout my life. It hasn't happened in a long time.
Actually, it's just gonna be like horrible sound in a death metal band playing. You're gonna be like, I actually listen to this shit, man. Fuck, this is the stuff I'm into.
Yeah, we might come back and be like, wait a second, what?
Why are we playing this shit? This is dumb.
Yeah, whoa.
What were we thinking? Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's all loud.
Yeah, I miss coming home and just fucking my ears ringing brutally and just have like, that was a crazy show, and going to bed and just waking up the next day, my ears are still ringing.
Oh yeah, just a fucking whoa.
Yeah. Funny thing is, that never happened when I played shows, but when I went to them,
like t-shirts kind of wet. I'm up way too late at night. My ears are really bad. I can't wind down.
Yeah, can't wind down. Probably listening to a couple of CDs that I bought that night. But my ears are ringing through the whole time. Like, but you're still like, oh, dude, that was so sick.
It's like what Mike was saying. Like your shirt's wet, but you didn't like mosh at all. Like you're like, oh, it's just all the dudes.
Just the moisture in the air.
Ambient.
There's just enough dudes in the bar. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like fucking metal dude do. Like
you the dude.
I don't go in the pit, but my t-shirt is wet after
That's
every
what I'm saying.
show, right?
Yeah. It's
totally,
like, why is
exactly.
it soaked? Why can I wring it out? It's like, oh, the shirtless guy kept running into me and like rubbing his all the shit.
Yeah, totally.
Moss is growing in the corners of the building.
There's always those wet guys that bump into you with the wristbands and they're all wet, and you're like, ah, man,
fucking wet guys. Those fucking
wet fat guy, dude.
His wristband's helping him, but it's not doing a whole lot for me.
I miss the wet fucking dude.
I mean, all this stuff
we're
describing sucks, one might think, but yeah, I want it.
I want the wet guys.
Even asking for those aspects too.
Totally.
Yeah, man.
Well,
I can't wait. Fun. Catch my first Exhausted Prayer show. I'm really pissed I didn't ever get to. Well, I could have, to be honest, but yeah, I'm beating myself up for not making it out to the shows that you guys played when I was a fan, and now I just can't wait to see you guys live and hear this material live. And dude, I'll fucking write up a review of the new album and post it on the Cali Death blog. So, we'll check that out. Closing words. And then maybe I was thinking we could like play another song, and that'll be like the end of the episode, and we'll do that.
Sure. Yeah.
Outro kind of. How's that sound?
Why not? Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, dude. So it was really cool meeting you guys. Now I was just gonna say, now that you're on my radar, I can't wait to see you guys live too and meet in person.
Fuck yeah.
This is
Please,
fucking
please.
Great talking. Thanks for having us.
yeah, dude. Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
learned a lot and
Fucking awesome,
super interesting fucking backgrounds and all that cool shit, dude. Like
Yeah.
that sitar was fucking dope, dude. Props for
Dude, that was a
bringing
while
on,
ago. I
dude.
forgot about it.
Yeah.
That was still the
Fuck you guys.
highlight.
I took a
got
picture of
my
it.
shit.
I took a picture of it. I got
Yeah.
a picture on my phone
Fuck
of
yeah.
you jamming the sitar.
Nice.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm happy to share some other Indian stuff
I
because
got
yeah.
my own scary sounds. Hold on, guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh,
Whoa. Wait.
do it again. Sorry,
It
do
didn't
it.
cut
Do
through.
it.
It didn't
Do it
cut
back.
through.
Chris,
Ah.
Chris, come back, come back.
Bring it back. No.
That was all we got. Oh,
Yeah,
no, there
yeah.
it is.
Oh yeah,
All right.
okay, let's all be quiet.
Closer
I'll
to
be
the
quiet.
phone.
There we go. Oh, you can't even hear it. This phone's a piece of shit.
No, go.
There we go.
It got through
I
first.
heard
That's
it.
all you got?
Yeah, the initial
Dude,
chord we
this
got
phone
it.
fucking did it not even work?
It
No
worked
worries.
at first and
No,
then
dude,
just
I
out.
heard it.
There was no ring out, but we heard the chord. We heard the fucking
Okay.
initial.
Dark,
Yeah.
the Schoenberg chord.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
phone is dog shit, man. Like if I were to play a guitar for you right now, you wouldn't hear it.
Mhm.
It
Oh,
won't
yeah,
pick up music. Like it just hears it and instantly quiets. It sounds like it's underwater.
Well, there's a
Selective
setting
compressor,
for that.
yeah.
There's a setting for that, but on the
Probably.
phone, it's a little different. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But we heard
dude.
it for
Okay, anyway, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
guys, thank you so much for having us. I mean,
Oh man,
obviously
so much fun.
this exhausted prayer thing means a lot to me and the dudes, and
Yeah.
you know, despite not being, you know, like a popular famous band or whatever, or getting a whole lot of accolades over the years, we do it because we love it and we like our sort of small little
Yeah.
niche that we have in our boutique band that we have. And anytime we get people that are willing to give us a little bit of light of day and spend some time with us and give us some love, it's so very much appreciated, because we don't get it all the time, and and we're so dedicated to this and we love it so much. So thank you.
Yeah, I definitely
So cool.
I totally see that in how you guys spoke about your project today, and it made me even more interested after this podcast. So that's really cool.
Totally, me too. Just like how you guys have kept it going for so many years, and it's still your thing, and you're not you're not chasing some sort of popularity fucking dragon. You're playing what you want to play, and that's what's fucking awesome, man.
Oh,
Fucking
you're
More clean singing in this album than prior albums. So I
yeah.
guess that's the only slight
Yeah,
sellout, but whatever.
so,
We'll end the podcast right now. Then I'm just kidding.
wait,
I'm
Edit
kidding.
that out.
Never mind.
Dude, they sold out. They were on Cali Death podcast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're all millionaires already doing this. So you know that's why we're here. And
Well, yeah, that was
Like,
yeah.
we got
That's
time for this shit
sellout
now,
move.
you know.
Sellout move coming on talking to you guys for sure.
we've made $0, and yeah, no, that's dude. We love you guys,
Okay.
man. That was
Oh, hell
fun.
yeah.
Oh, look at that cat. Look at that. Man, yeah.
Come on.
He
Nobody
knew.
paying any attention.
No, cats do that, dude. I've seen that before on a lot of podcasts. They steal the show. They're like, "Oh, you're doing something."
yeah.
And they come in front. Like, I'm surprised Joel's cat doesn't do that.
Oh,
More.
no, he has. He made an appearance.
He has,
Joel
though.
was here. Yeah.
No, he already made an appearance today. He was.
Oh, he did.
was
I
here.
didn't see him.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
missed it.
I mean, he's
He's
right here. If you
in
want
the
to know
lap.
whatever. He's right here.
For
Oh,
sure.
But
he's
anyways,
yeah,
I swear to
chilling.
God, he's there.
He's chilling.
I don't want to change my camera.
Yeah.
All right, here goes. I'm gonna get
Sick.
us over to song.
Right on,
dude.
real quick.
Second
Let's
track.
let's do our wrap up before we play anything. Thanks for listening, watching. Cali Death podcast fans every week. That's awesome that you guys are coming back. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't yet. Rate and review, all that stuff. We'd like to see those, and yeah, come back next week. We're gonna be here again. So let's and one more thing. Thanks again, Christopher Beatty. I said Beetle last episode. Sorry, bro. I fucking screw myself every time when I fuck up. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, fuck yeah. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.